We're not on film, right? We're not film. Oh, we are. Hey. I was going to give you my phone to take pictures. You will?
Army.
I was reaching out for a reason. I would not trust it.
I'm sorry. No, we're
What is going on, everybody? Day 3 or so. Little feedback coming through.
Party on Radio Row.
It is what it is. But we're going to get right into it. There's a lot of things we got to talk about. We got to recap yesterday. Warren Sapp, the whole 9 yards of his arrest and the video that he allowed me to break.
Yes.
We're going to get to that. But first and foremost, let's welcome Haley Hunt. Haley, how are you?
Hey, guys.
A lot of things going on with you. So tell us exactly what the verb kind is.
Absolutely. First of all, thank you for having me. New Orleans is beautiful, awesome. The energy in here is crazy. But we're so excited to be here representing the organization that I was honored to start and launch, but it's called The Verb Kind. And we mentor incarcerated youth. So we go into juvenile detention centers all over Florida, Alabama, Tennessee. Tomorrow we're going into the juvenile detention center here in New Orleans, and we mentor and give love and hope to kids who are incarcerated.
And how does that work with the NFL?
Yeah, great question. So before this, I worked with a lot of pro athletes in the marketing space, and I would help build brands. And so all the biggest names that you can imagine, I've worked with them in some capacity. And so when I started going to juvenile detention centers, one of my favorite questions is, what is your dream job? And most of them either want to be a musician of some sort, rapper, or
You want to be in jail, right?
Yeah, no.
In a different way, right?
Yes, they want to be a football
athlete.
player, an athlete,
Yeah.
absolutely. So I started bringing pro athletes to the juvenile detention center, and it was such a huge impact, not only on the kids, but on our athletes, and just did something to the athletes. It was more like a reality check kind of thing, and the reality is that a lot of the athletes that we know and love stayed out of trouble because of sports,
Sure.
or they've been in trouble themselves, and they know that if it wasn't for the grace of God or whatever you want to call it, they could be where these kids are. So
And sometimes they still end up there.
How do the incarcerated people,
Yeah.
when they look at they're celebrities, but they're not looking at them as a celebrity. They're looking at them sort of like a mentor, right?
Absolutely. And what I was going to say is, we don't take just pro athletes in. We take in stay-at-home moms, the grocery store workers, the attorneys. But what I've said is, when someone of an elite status comes in and spends time with you, you feel special. If Cam Newton just stopped and was like, "Hey, man," or Dana White was like, "You're looking great. Love your hat. Thank you."
He has said that.
Exactly. I bet he did. I bet he has. I'm thinking, wow, I'm important enough for you to stop.
Exactly.
So when these children who literally have never been celebrated, don't have dads, 80% have no father, they see that they're important enough to their dream athletes and stuff. It does something to their heart. There's a shift. They feel more confident. They're feeling more special about themselves.
Somebody
and I think
cares.
Somebody cares.
I think it's even further than that. I think, and correct me if
Yeah.
I'm wrong, it's not that somebody cares. A stranger cares. It's not necessarily a family member that has to care. This is a stranger that's taking time. Money, anybody can do money. It's time. And so it's a stranger that's caring.
There's a kid in Palm Beach who has known the verb kind for a while, and our mentor said, "Hey, can anybody explain to the other kids that don't know who we are, who is the verb kind?" And you know what this kid said? Well, basically, they're the strangers that love us.
There you go.
No, that's a great thing to hear, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's amazing.
yeah.
Stranger love in them. I mean, that means that we're family. They feel like we care about them,
All right, so stranger, when you introduce a stranger by the name of Austin Lane, I'm curious, do you introduce him as former football player? Because I've talked to Austin about this, or is he a UFC fighter?
I think to us, for me, I would say he is a UFC fighter. And then, Trey Waters is another guy in the UFC that's fighting, and his trainer, Seth, the whole crew, they come in and they serve, and it means a lot to these kids. And a lot of these kids are really good at fighting, to be honest.
Well,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
They just need a little bit of training.
I think it's a golden opportunity. for a mentorship. You've also won an award, right?
Yeah, well, we were chosen as the NFLPA's, which is the, Players Association charitable partner this year in social justice, and so it was a very huge honor. There's a lot of people, a lot of organizations doing incredible things in this country, but we were offered this opportunity to be their partner this year. So that gave us an opportunity to invite more athletes to a JDC with us.
How do celebrities, and like you said, it
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
necessarily have to be celebrities,
No, yeah.
fighters. I mean, I know a lot of fighters throughout Florida. How do they get involved? Do they call you? Do they just show up at the jail with a pass or
That's a great question.
climb
So,
over the fence?
if you're listening and you want to be involved, obviously our website is theverbkind.com. Just quickly, the reason why we're called the Verb Kind is because love is an action. So theverbkind.com. And our Instagram is the action that I ask you, and it is to come to jail with me. Our Instagram is literally come to jail with me, all written out. And so, and then you can email me or text me, I don't care. But yes, come to jail with me. Come and experience it and give back and do yourself a favor is what I would say.
Because nobody wants to be there.
No, nobody wants to be
nobody
there.
wants to be there. So
I do.
Yeah.
No, just for.
You just want the
for
free
th-
food.
No, just for 3 hours. I want to do a radio show there.
Really?
Wow, that
We,
would be
we
cool.
would come in and do a radio show. I'll bring a couple of the fighters,
That would-
and we could do
Kind of like Johnny Cash with Folsom Prison, doing the show, doing
Where
the
do you
show right at the
live? Where do
prison.
you live?
Tampa St. Pete.
You do?
Yeah, we're Florida.
Wow. okay.
We're a national show based out of Tampa St. Pete.
Amazing.
I'm a veteran. These three did Army, so
Awesome.
there's a big difference.
Well, we're in Tampa. We're in Tampa and St. Pete. We're in Waimama and
okay.
in Pinellas Park.
I have a real good contact in Tampa that we can set it up.
I would love
His
to.
name's
we've-
Chad Chronister.
We have
Okay.
plenty of
You know,
criminals in
it's-
Tampa.
No,
He's the sheriff.
oh wow.
Sheriff Chronister. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I would love to meet him.
Well, we'll set it up. I'll get something taken care of, and we'll do it.
Love it. Awesome.
Awesome.
I'd like to know, what the players think of it. How does it? We know how it can affect the kids that go in there and they get to meet
Yeah.
their idols, or they get to meet these, people of high stature, as you said. But I was just curious, what has any of the athletes ever told you
Great question.
what they come away with?
Yeah, that's a great question. My favorite story is bringing the defensive line from the University of Alabama last year into a JDC. And
High tide.
Yeah, right. High tide.
You've seen the commercial. That's the best.
And I walk in and, I tell them, these kids don't care what you look like, what you do for a living, whatever. And, of course, it's the guys from Bama,
Yeah.
And so we walk in and I said, hey, kids, this is the defensive line from the University of Alabama. Welcome. And all the kids are literally like,
Not impressed, huh?
and I was like,
What?
y'all aren't Alabama fans? And they were like, I mean, I guess. And I will never forget, one of the guys was like, I've never had anybody not freak out that we were there. Like, it was just such
humbling.
a very humbling thing.
Yeah,
And
reality check.
it was a reality check that these kids are in way different situations than you. So, yes, we're at the Super Bowl. Like, there's lights everywhere and celebrities everywhere you look. Drew Brees just walked by. I mean, but there's a JDC, there is a room down the street with kids that need hope, and that's the reality. And so a lot of people don't want to know that, but the reality is that's what is important to God. That's what's important to our society, So
Haley, thank you
Yes.
very much for your
Yes,
time. I'm going to
thank you
give you
so
my
much.
card.
Yes.
Whatever we can do to help. And if you're in Tampa, that's even easier.
Yes.
We could honestly even walk there.
Yeah, and the website again, so people can find you.
theverbkind.com.
Okay,
Yes.
great.
Thank
There
you.
you have it. We're going to hit the first break of the day so far, coming to you live from Radio Row right here in New Orleans. This is Knockout Radio, brought to you by 8 Man Strong, Staff Zone, and Bucked Up Energy Drink. We'll be right back.
Thank you, guys.
Sorry about the close.
Where is this running right now? Online?
YouTube, Facebook,
okay.
knockoutradio.com, radio stations.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, WTAN if you're in Tampa.
Awesome. Okay. Amazing. Yes, I would love to connect with you guys. That radio show idea is really cool idea.
I think it'd be cool.
Yeah. You know what?
Yeah, you got it. Thank you.
No, you're serious.
Yeah, I do WWSP.
I was like, next time there's a storm there, I want to tell you to go to my house over again. So that I know, so that I know what was going on there.
Yeah, you were Berkey?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. For Milton's? For the night here, okay.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that way. So I have a place there, and I've also lived in Barcelona when that so I just my heart is
Keep track of time. It's only 2 minutes.
yeah, so Berkey Yacht Club camera. Yeah, so I was trying to log on to that webcam.
Yeah, because it got knocked out.
Thank you.
I think it got knocked out while we were trying to use it on air. I mean, that was something else, right? I mean, that was
So
how we were.
I knew that I recognized, her when she walked by, but
but all things considered, the devastation that we have no sure.
we're back. Leslie,
Crazy.
we're back. All right, we are back coming to you live from Radio Row, Super Bowl LIX. That basically means 59. Yesterday was crazy.
It was, and it's gonna get even crazier
Yeah.
today. We've seen Drew Brees here now. Really, a lot of these guys are coming in because they want to go to the parties. They want to go to the the weekend parties and so forth, and that tends to happen.
This will be the first year I don't go to the parties.
Is that right?
Well, I was going home on Friday. That was the plan.
Yeah, that was the plan until then the Navy came along.
No,
The
it was the
Corps-
Marines.
Yeah, Marine
It
Corps
was the
came
Marines.
along.
Yeah.
They have offered a flight for Randy Man here.
Yep.
Not the Thunderbirds, but you're actually going to go up in one of the, I like to just call it a plane chopper.
Right,
Because
half and half.
It's a half and half. It's a half helicopter, half fixed wing.
So I feel better because I was thinking jet. I was thinking I'm going to throw up, but at least I know I'm going to throw up. So it's not a jet. We're only going to do about 100, 125. So that's,
That's
not bad.
great. And plus, the chopper is it's steadier, much steadier.
We'll see.
Yeah, it should be. Well, it's a mixture, but I think that would be pretty cool. So you're going to do that on Saturday, and they're not
No,
even
Friday.
going to
Yeah,
Friday.
we're gonna do
Okay,
Friday.
and they're not even going to make you jump out.
That's
you get to
correct.
stay in it.
I would not jump out. no.
Okay, so no parties for Randy.
That ship has sailed. Attempted it. It was going to happen once. It didn't happen. So, yeah, normally I stay until Saturday. Saturday night, I take the red eyes. I hit some of the parties, which is cool. But when the opportunity came up, this has got to be a cool opportunity if it costs me money to change my plane.
Yes.
I got to get a hotel now for Friday.
Yeah, because you don't like to spend money.
No.
No. So this is a big deal.
After buying the internet, I can't afford to buy anything
yeah,
else.
I know. Wow. Yeah, for those of you who didn't tune in yesterday, it's a kind of a unique situation here where you put
Money grab.
Yeah, money grab. You having to pay for Ethernet because the internet has been so shoddy, and you can't use a hotspot either. So kind of difficult, kind of costly, but glad we're here. So who are some of the names that we're seeing? I just saw Kurt Warner.
Kurt Warner, Lawrence Taylor, Emmett Smith. I mean, everybody's here.
Joe, the
Joe.
only Joe Montana.
Yep.
Now, I have to say he's lost a little bit of stature, Joe Montana, in the last.
Honestly, he has.
Because of Brady.
I don't think it's because of Brady.
Oh, it's because of Brady.
No,
it's because of Brady.
no.
No one touched him.
No.
No one. It was not even a question who the greatest quarterback was of all time. Not even an argument
Well, it's not an argument.
until Brady
Oh, of
won the
course,
Super
no.
Bowl with the Bucks.
There was.
That lost his stature, some of his stature.
I
Still
disagree
Joe.
with you. Let's get Lewis Murphy back over here.
No, wait a minute. Why do you disagree with me?
I think that he's lost a little because time moves on.
But not when you're still the greatest. Now it's moved
okay,
on.
who's the greatest home run hitter of all time?
Babe.
Either Babe or Hank Aaron.
Babe.
Well, no, because Hank Aaron, took that, and then of course Barry Bonds took that. But what I'm saying is the younger generation, as they move on, the people that saw Babe Ruth, I would assume most are dead.
You telling me if the ghost of Babe Ruth didn't just walk by, people wouldn't it wouldn't hold the same stature?
I'm going to say correct. I'm going to say a lot of people here on Radio Row today, if Babe Ruth walked by, I'll bet you a lot would have no clue. I'll bet you here's the
I
story.
think you're wrong.
Okay, hold on a second.
He's like the Elvis of baseball.
Hold on a second. So we just talked about Alabama. All right, not going to mention names to protect the guilty. I went up to a former Crimson Tide, okay, and I asked him about Marty Lyons. Marty Lyons is one of the greats from Alabama, then went on to the Jets, part of the Sack Exchange, blah, 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 blah. I asked this person about Marty Lyons, and he said to me, I have no idea who that is.
I don't either.
Hold on a second. You don't have his portrait right above your bed.
No, I don't.
Okay, well, this player did. Had him right above his locker in Alabama. Above his locker,
Okay.
you know, they have all the legends, you know, all throughout the locker room.
Yeah, but
I'm just saying to the younger generation may not even follow baseball. So, no, I'm going to say a lot they know the name Babe Ruth, but they wouldn't know if Babe Ruth or the ghost of Babe
so
Ruth
you
walked
don't
through.
think Zoomers. Zoomers. So we're talking
Whatever
Zoomers.
they're called.
Okay,
Okay.
Zoomers are like 25 and below.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, yeah, because some Zoomers, honestly, I mean, some of them haven't seen Grease, which blows my mind. But I've had these conversations. That's usually something that they are familiar with.
My son hasn't seen Karate Kid
Well, that's
until
okay,
recently.
but Grease is, I mean, come on. Grease is actually re-released like every
Hold on.
5 years.
Which would be a bigger cult movie? I mean,
Grease?
Karate Kid was huge, and then the remake and what they just did with
Dude.
Cobra Kai.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
You know,
I mean, it's a big, because they're watching the Karate Kid now.
right.
Yeah, but but that's what they're looking at. But Grease it transforms generation. I mean, it's not even comparable.
I think it is. I think it
You
is.
think Grease is comparable to the Karate Kid?
Yeah, I do. Absolutely.
Okay, Grease is one of the all-time highest-grossing films. I mean, it's
Grease is the word.
yeah,
I
it's got
get it.
It's got meaning.
I-
Bam, bam,
And it cost me $1,000. I get it.
It cost me more than $1,000.
Oh, you didn't tell me the truth. All
No,
right.
it cost me more than more than $1,000.
Okay.
And Randy's
Well, that was
giving me
just-
a hard time for when I wanted to meet John and Olivia.
And I told you I'm happy for you. But I'm just saying, as the generations move on,
But they re-release Grease. Do you understand that?
No, I
It's
understand.
re-released. No, and it sells out. Okay, so when Olivia died, this was like
do you
about 2
believe?
years
Hold
ago.
on. Do you believe the people that go and see it on the re-release are the people that already seen it?
No, I think people are bringing their children. It's constant. No, it isn't.
I mean, okay.
It is a new thing where the families are taking their kids. And now you got to remember, and our parents watched it because it was a movie made in the 70s about the 50s. Okay. And because the songs, I mean, there was #1 hits with that. You're the One That I Want, Hopelessly Devoted to You. You had Grease, you had Grease Lightning, all these hits. It's a classic film. It never gets old. And it's Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta. And John Travolta is still very relevant.
Oh, absolutely.
And so it just keeps going. Grease keeps going and going and going. I mean, seriously.
The thing but you brought up John Travolta. So the thing about John Travolta, and even more than Olivia Newton-John, John Travolta is still, I hate to say it, relevant.
Well, she's dead.
No, I
But-
understand that. I
yeah.
mean, even before her death.
Well, yeah.
I mean, he was still doing movies, big movies. He's
Yeah.
a big star, so
Yeah,
that's still
it was
different. Babe Ruth, first, is not alive,
Right.
and he's not relevant. It's people the young generation don't know who. I would know who Babe Ruth is when he walked in.
But with the young generation, I've tested this out. I'm like Sandy and Grease, and they're like, "Oh yeah, okay," because everybody has seen Grease, and if you haven't, it's just a matter of time.
When people start coming in, I'm going to ask them a
if
Grease
they've
question.
seen Grease,
So
okay.
I will ask them.
Wap-a-pa-loop-a.
You need to look the other way. You don't have to give them the stink eye like yes, say
Whatever.
yes.
Okay.
So I'll do that.
There's even commercials. Even
get it.
commercials like.
Where's Matt when you need him? We'll see how that plays out.
Mike would be here too. Like Mike would be supporting what I'm saying.
But that's the thing, in my opinion, with Joe Montana, is Joe Montana has now been
Yeah.
removed, from, I mean, and it is kind of, have you seen the commercial? I think it's a beer commercial with Joe Montana.
No, I haven't.
And it's like in a bar and he asks for a drink or something, and I'm going to paraphrase because I don't remember it much. And then, a guy kind of chuckles and he says to him something like, "What are you, a tennis player?"
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So I don't think as many people.
But if Brady had not done what Brady's done, I think you might change your mind. A
No,
little bit.
absolutely not,
You don't
because
think
Mahomes
Brady
is
has
here.
any? Effect, yeah, but Mahomes isn't proven like Brady is. I mean, he's up there,
He's
but
not proven.
he's not proven like Brady is. He's not. In fact, head to head, he lost against Brady. He got outgunned. So it's you've got, and he'll never be the GOAT because at the end of the day, even though they had the same generational cross, Brady and the tougher
Joe
generation.
Montana was only in the conversation of GOAT. He wasn't the GOAT
Yeah, he
before
was.
time. No, he wasn't.
Are you out of your mind?
He wasn't the
Randy,
GOAT.
come on.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's a good one.
Joe Montana might have been in the. Joe Montana over Bart Starr?
Yes.
Over Otto Graham?
Absolutely.
You're a fool.
Even over
You're a fool.
Sid Luckman, even over him.
Oh, how about you pulling an old name from
Yeah,
yesterday?
that's right.
Now there is no conversation. It's Tom Brady.
It was only Joe Montana. He went to 4 Super Bowls, won every one, and never threw an interception.
how
Are
many
you
w-
kidding me?
how many
Four in a
world
row
titles-
with no interceptions?
I'm going to be
Are
like
you
Matt. I'm going to
kidding
just
me?
turn her down. That'll calm her down a
I
little.
think you guys agree with me, right?
How many
They're,
world
they're
titles?
nodding their heads.
No, they're not. And they're Army, so it takes 3 nods to equal 1. How many world titles did Joe Montana win? How many world titles?
4.
Okay. How many did Otto Graham win?
World titles?
Yeah, world titles.
I don't know.
Okay. Google it.
Huh?
You Google it.
Well, it wasn't. Was it 4? We're talking like. Oh, you said world titles, not Super Bowls. So you're talking about
Well,
the championship games.
Yeah, world
You know,
titles.
and it's like saying the Browns went to the Super Bowl.
well, they did because Otto
No,
Graham was the quarterback of the
yeah,
Browns.
Yeah, but what I'm telling you,
Ugh.
you is it's a championship game. It's not even in the same category. Football, and it was tougher in many ways. You know, it was the leatherheads and stuff, but it simply wasn't. It's hard to compare that.
I'm going to have a
It's hard to
coronary.
compare. There's the teams. There's not even that many teams.
I'm so happy that
Not even
the
that many
American Heart
teams.
Association is right behind us. So-
Otto Graham.
So when you give me a heart attack, you looked it up. We're going to hit the bottom of the hour break. You can let me know how many world titles, how many championships did Otto Graham win when we return. This is Knockout Radio, brought to you by 8 Man Strong, Staff Zone, and Bucked Up Energy Drink. We'll be right back. So much for Moose Johnston. Is Tyrus a definite?
You're supposed to run back and tell me, so pencil it in, go back, put it back in. It's Myers' fault. Myers.
Systematic. All right, we are back. Ed's the best, but I think
Ed,
that's
you're
what softball for you.
Ed,
All right.
because you know why? Ed has seen Grease. That's why he knew how to play
Well,
that.
of course, he's seen geese.
Grease.
He's seen geese.
Geese.
He's seen geese fly over when the geese was greased, and you saw how to get up. Of course, he's seen it. I'm saying, we're getting back to the disagreement. 30-year-olds that don't even like baseball, no clue, Babe Ruth.
But you've seen some of it, haven't you? That's all that matters. Well, the point is you saw some of it.
Let's be
You
honest.
watched some
Hold
of
on
it.
a second. Let's be honest. There's only one really good part in Grease.
When Olivia comes out and throws down that cigarette. Whew.
No, when she's
Smashes
into leather and all that stuff.
That's what I'm talking about. She walks out.
Is that what she does? That kind? Okay.
Tell me about it,
I
stud.
don't. Yeah, I don't. After that, the cigarette part turns me off. But everything else.
She threw it down. She didn't remember she was supposed to smoke it.
yeah.
She threw it in. The girls told her how to throw it.
Right.
And then
Best part of the movie.
Yeah, absolutely great.
And how many people in there, of Grease, and you can tell me, went on to bigger and better things. The one dude became the head dude of Barney. You know that, right?
What are you talking about?
One of the guys in Grease went on to be heavily involved in Barney.
You're kidding. Which one?
The
What-
black-haired, one of the
black-haired guy in
one of the
Grease.
T-birds.
They all had. Well, there was one blonde. Huh,
Okay, so it wasn't him.
Interesting. I wonder if
Short
it was
guy.
Duty or Sonny. They were all short.
No, Kaneki was taller.
Well, Kinnicky is not. We know that. Yeah, he went on. He went on to do. Unfortunately, Kinnicky. Interesting, fun fact about Grease.
I'll be the judge.
Kinnicky had a massive. Both John and Jeff Conway, who's Kinnicky, John Travolta, had massive crushes on Olivia Newton-John. It's well documented. John admits it. Huge crushes. Wanted her to be in the film, and they became very good friends. But Kinnicky had Jeff Conway couldn't even talk to her. He was so nervous. Olivia brings her sister Rona to the set, and then Kinnicky falls head over for Rona and marries her. So Kinnicky is actually became Olivia Newton-John's brother-in-law. And then he went on, Jeff Conway, of course, he hurt himself during Grease Lightning. Remember the scene, Grease Lightning, which she just played it for Ed for us? Well, he was actually originally supposed to sing that song, but they gave it to John. And in the play, Kinnicky sings it. But when he was doing all that stuff on the car, he fell and he hurt his back. He hurt his back. And then that's how he got on the pain pills. And then that's how he became, so it actually started in Grease. It went on. So it's my little Grease fun fact.
The
for you guys.
Barney update. So it was Duty.
Oh, it was Duty.
Yep, Duty. Barry Pearl,
Oh, Barry Pearl. Okay.
who
Interesting. Wow.
Grease appeared in Barney's Big Surprise tour.
Interesting.
So he was like up on stage, and
Yeah.
it's funny how you'll think of one actor for this, but he's done other stuff.
Yeah.
Like
Well, Kinnicky he went on to do Taxi.
right.
Taxi was one of the greatest television shows ever.
And then who was the leader of the whatever they were called, the girls?
Oh, so you're thinking of Stockard
Yeah,
Channing?
who then went on to
the
become
Pink Ladies.
What didn't she become the president's wife in one of the president's movies? I think she was.
Oh, Stockard Channing did a ton of
Yeah.
movies. 7 Degrees of Separation
She
with Will Smith. Remember that one?
Never saw that.
Oh, well, you don't see a lot of movies,
No, I
but
don't.
Stockard Channing
Oh.
was an award-winning actress.
Who turned down the role
Oh, I know.
of Sandy?
Marie Osmond.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Oh,
How about that?
You can challenge me on my Grease knowledge.
I can't do
I'll
that.
knock it out of the park. And do you know why? Well, because she's a pretty devout Mormon.
Right.
And she didn't want and Olivia and Marie Osmond were very good friends. And she turned it down. And Olivia Newton-John, the only reason so John Travolta shows up at her house. They go to a dinner party and she meets Alan Carr, who is producing it, and he wants, because John Travolta was like, you got to get Olivia. They looked at a couple people. They looked at Marie Osmond, and I think they looked at somebody else. I can't remember who it was, but Marie turned it down, and they really wanted, you're not going to believe this, for Danny Zuko, they really wanted who? Henry Winkler, the
Right,
Fonz.
right.
And the Fonz turned it down. He said it was the biggest regret he ever did. And so they ended up casting John Travolta. And John Travolta said, we got to have Olivia Newton-John. She's the hottest pop star, she was a country music singer at the time. And she was one of the biggest, most successful at that time. She was the only big star. That was it. Olivia was the biggest star of Grease when it came out. John
Right,
hadn't even
right.
released Saturday Night Fever. He
Right.
was only Vinnie Barbarino. So they go to her house because she was scared to do it. She didn't want to do it. She'd already done a weird movie that nobody saw but me, and it didn't do any well. So she didn't want to do it. So he shows up, goes over there. She opens the door, and she's like, of course, because he's so good looking. And they hit it off very well. She said, I'll have to do a screen test. I'm nervous. And John Travolta basically took her under his wing and just really helped her feel comfortable. And, the rest is history, Wop, bop, loo, bop.
Kaboom, bomb, bam.
Yeah, it's a little off, Randy, but you're close. Hey, all right. So from Greece to football, okay? I just want to say, me and Randy were arguing about this. Going back to Otto Graham. Otto Graham won 7. Okay, Randy, I was saying that Tom Brady, Joe Montana completely was the GOAT before we got to Tom Brady. I don't think you can argue this. Randy says you can because of Otto Graham because he won 7 championships. But let me explain something. That's impressive. But the National Football League back in the 50s only had 13 teams.
So what does that mean?
That means he didn't have that much competition.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
That's what that means.
Hold on. We've talked about that with the rushing record, okay? When O.J. Simpson had the record, when all these records, Eric Dickerson
We're
had the
talking
record.
a huge
Hold on,
difference in
no,
the
we're not.
teams. We're talking 13 teams. How many teams are in the NFL right now?
It doesn't matter.
You're
doesn't-
killing me, Small. How many teams?
I interviewed him. Never saw the movie, but I
Oh,
interviewed
did
that
you?
kid.
You
yeah.
never saw that?
Yeah, we played softball at a
You
softball
played
thing last.
softball with the Sandlot guy?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a great liner, and he even said, "You're killing me, Small." So yeah, it was pretty cool.
Oh, that is cool.
But yes, it was different, and there were
There's
less
not
teams.
enough competition.
I get all that.
It's just not enough. Now what is it? 36? What have we got? I have to do that. You're talking 13.
So
You're
what?
talking no, it's too little.
He was the most dominant quarterback.
Of course, because they
of the
didn't have
time.
that much competition. How can that not go? Plus, it's a fledgling league. The NFL hasn't been around that long. The NFL expanded to 13 teams after they merged with what was called the AAFC.
Yep.
And it was just they'd been around the 1950 NFL season. That was the 31st regular season of the year. That's how fledgling they were. They
You're
didn't
right.
it started like back in 1920.
All of that is you're right.
Okay, so
Otto Graham was considered the greatest quarterback
Yeah.
for a long period, and Otto Graham, check those
like
lists.
Kobe Bryant in high school, of course he's going to be the best
Okay.
because he's only playing those other people. It's just
So it
just
doesn't
not there
change
yet.
if there's more high schools. He was still the GOAT of high school players, right? LeBron James, the GOAT. I understand what you're saying.
Joe
but-
Montana never threw an interception, and he won 4 Super Bowls. I think that alone, because he never made a mistake, that's what. And he's 4-0. 4-0. How many did Otto go to?
Well,
How many did he go to?
He never went to a Super Bowl because
know,
it's
he
only been
can't- okay, so-
59 years.
Yeah, because they're not. It's not Super Bowl worthy, man.
Oh my God.
That ain't Super Bowl worthy.
Oh my God.
13 teams.
You know what you're
Come
making. You
on.
know what you're
It's
making
a
me
Taylor
feel.
Swift song.
You know what you're making me feel right now?
What?
Like I need Matt. You're pushing me back to Matt. Like I said, and I'm going to continue to say because I lived it. I know. Before Tom Brady, there was a discussion. Who is the GOAT? Is it Bart Starr? Is it Johnny Unitas? Is it Otto Graham? Is it Joe Montana?
was
Is it
always
Terry
Joe
Bradshaw?
Montana. It was always Joe Montana.
Maybe to you.
No, the whole world. Unless you're like so old that you would think that Sid Luckman or Otto Graham would be. Come on. All right.
Let's move on.
Switching gears.
Yes.
This is kind of cool. Now that I'm looking at the 1950s, let me give you a rundown of the names of the teams. It's kind of fun. So we all know Cleveland was still the Browns. New York Giants, Philadelphia Eagles. These were the teams in the 1950s. If you just out of curiosity for history,
Sure.
Pittsburgh Steelers. These are the old schoolers. Chicago. It was not the
It
Bears.
wasn't the Bears, right?
No.
It wasn't. I said it was
Yeah,
not
right.
the Bears.
Who was it? Oh wait, there's 2 Chicago teams here. There's one in the American and one in the National. The Bears are in the National, but Chicago had a second team, and they were the Cardinals. And then the Redskins, Washington Redskins. Now let's flip over to the National League. You got the L.A. Rams. They're a storied team. People sometimes, because they moved to St. Louis, get confused. But that's a storied team. Chicago Bears, the New York Yanks. I didn't know that. I didn't know that was also the football team. Yankees was so we all know that
Wow.
became became the Giants, and then the Jets. The Giants became the Jets in the American League. Green Bay Packers, San Francisco 49ers, and the Baltimore, not the Ravens, old school. Remember they
Yeah,
Indianapolis.
Colts.
Yeah, Baltimore Colts.
yeah. That was the midnight Mayflower trucks,
Yeah,
and he waited until dark, threw them all the stuff in, and
I don't know
and
what you're
took off.
talking about, but
That's when the Colts left.
is that how
It was in the
went
middle
down?
of the night.
Really?
Yeah, they came in the middle of the night with the Mayflower trailers,
Oh,
trucks,
my.
semis, loaded up and hauled ass out of town.
That's interesting. Very interesting.
Well, and that I like to look at, like, everybody's all upset, switching gears just for a second with baseball. The Oakland A's just left Oakland. Well, you know where else the Oakland A's left, right? The Oakland A's used to be the Kansas City A's. They left Kansas City and went to Oakland.
Oh, I didn't know
Do you
that.
know how the Kansas City A's? They came from Philadelphia. They were the Philadelphia A's.
Oh, wow.
So teams move.
Yeah, the Phillies have been there a long time though now. Have they? The Phillies
It's been a
around.
while since they've. We need a championship back in Philly.
No, baseball. What do you mean you beat the Rays?
Oh,
And
that
then
was
lo-
awesome.
Oh,
It
wasn't that long ago?
oh, it was.
Not really. In the scope of baseball.
There's going to be a country song on how long ago that was. Because all those country songs are 100 years. My buddy Five for Fighting.
Yeah.
Uh,
All right. So, well, here's some fun facts, Randy, about the Philadelphia Eagles. Since Randy is a Philly guy, although he doesn't like the Eagles.
I do not like the Eagles.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. And we're gonna hear from a unicorn a little bit later in the day, guys.
Well, he's not a unicorn.
He is
'Cause
a unicorn.
No, that's a Philly fan.
No, he's
Oh, he's a nice one.
Yes,
That's what you're saying.
he's a
Okay.
unicorn.
I'll turn him.
He's a nice Philly fan.
I'll bring him to the dark
I
side.
couldn't believe him. He's a nice guy. And he's all decked out, so we're going to talk to him later. All right, so the Eagles were named after what? Do you know?
A bird.
Yeah, that's right. It was a symbol from President Roosevelt, Franklin D. Roosevelt's New Deal. The New Deal, which, was like Social Security, all that kind of stuff. It was the Blue Eagle. It's Blue Eagle. All right. So actually that means the Philadelphia Eagles are ultimately a Democratic team. Just saying that, throwing that out there.
Well, I
Sorry.
think that is on one of the
Sorry.
lists that every year the Democrat team does this, the Republican team does that. And it's like, why is everything got to be political?
I know. Well, this is political. They were named the Blue Eagle. That's a symbol from Roosevelt's New Deal, and that's why our parents are, getting their Social Security. All right. So the Eagles Super Bowl L2. You got to help me. I screw this up all the time.
L would be 50.
50. So 52 second. The Eagles' 52nd championship ring has 4 green sapphires on the corners of the base to represent the team's 4 NFL championships.
Oh, no, that don't matter, the NFL championship. It doesn't matter. If it was your ring, you'd take it off. You're crazy.
I just don't think the championships, it should only represent the Super Bowls. I don't just think
So everything before they decided, because a bouncing ball was thrown in Mr. Hunt's kitchen, nothing before that matters.
I'm just saying the NFL championships, those are the AFC or whatever championship games and stuff that they win. NFL champion, no, none of it matters. You're just saying that the old, no.
You know what does matter?
We got to go to a break.
This is Knockout Radio. We'll be right back. This is a short one. So, did you eat? Who ate? P8. Name the band. Name the band.
Casey and the
The
Sunshine Band.
There you go. From Miami.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
yeah.
KC.
Coming to you live from Radio Row. The next to last day. We're only going to be on short tomorrow. We'll be on YouTube after the 1 hour. We got Dustin Poirier coming on tomorrow. And for anyone listening, we are streaming on our YouTube channel, on our Facebook page, social media blowing up. We are almost at 49 million views. Almost at 60,000 subscribers. If you haven't subscribed yet, please go to YouTube under, it's real easy, Knockout Radio. All right, what else you got?
All right, so we were looking at some fun facts about the Philadelphia Eagles. So we'll do a couple more before I switch this over to the Chiefs.
What song, whether you're a fan or not,
Yeah?
gets in your head like that damn spelling of the Eagles that you can't get out?
What do you mean, like the
Well,
fly,
you've heard
the
their
fly,
chant.
Eagle Fly
Well,
song?
no, it's more when they chant the EAGLES, Eagles.
All
blah,
of it
blah,
makes
blah,
me
blah.
nauseous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that. It's the Tennessee fight song.
Rocky Top.
Yeah, Rocky Top.
Well, we sang that in high school.
Well,
Every-
that's because you're from there.
Yeah, and it was a prerequisite.
Yeah.
You had to, in order to graduate, you had to sing it at the, every pep rally, anything we ever had, we sang Rocky Top at. But it was a great song.
It's awful. Back to fun
Oh my
facts.
goodness.
Right.
Okay. All right. So, all right. The Eagles have appeared in the playoff 31 times, and they've won 16 divisional titles, including 13 in the NFC East. And they appeared in 4 pre-merger NFL championship games, which we mentioned: 1948, 1949, 1960.
But they don't count as far as Leslie's concerned.
No, they don't. They don't. And they've appeared in 5 Super Bowls. And of course, we only know they've won 1.
Correct.
So this will be their 6th Super Bowl appearance. Wow. Boy, that's up to, almost up there with like the
And
Bills.
you know why? You know who blew that
Lost a
game?
lot, a
Do you
lot.
know who blew the game to the Eagles?
Yeah, God, he didn't want them to win.
All Tom Brady had to do was make one catch. One catch.
Oh, you mean when he played the
That's who they played, the New England Patriots.
right when they beat them. Right.
Right,
You're
well,
saying Tom
That's-
Brady blew the. It's a team sport.
No, it's
Randy.
not.
It is a team
No, it's not.
sport.
It is not. When the GOAT dropped the pass, their trick play, the Eagles,
Yeah.
won it for him, the Philly special.
Yeah. Well, why didn't the defense stop them?
Tom Brady let down the team
Team sport.
and did not make the catch on the trick
So
play.
I suppose Tom Brady was responsible for getting them, 100% for getting them there too.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
you're right. You're right.
Tom Brady didn't have a Jerry
D-line-
Rice.
The D line doesn't matter. The special teams, all of that. Okay, Randy. All right. Okay, so this is interesting. The Eagles have excellent eyesight, allowing them to see 4 to 5 times better than humans. They can spot prey from up to 3 miles away.
Yeah.
How about that?
I wouldn't say all humans. I can spot food 3 miles away too.
Those are eagles. Those are eagles. All right, so let's take a look at the other half. Let's check out the fun facts about the Kansas City Chiefs. All right, so the Chiefs. Do we know how they're
What?
who are they named after? Do you know?
Chief Nakahoma.
No, a guy
Chief
named
Wahoo McDaniel.
a guy named. Hey, stop that, because they're going to make them change the name of the Chiefs. They were named after a guy, H. Rowe Bartle, who was the mayor of Kansas City. This H. Rowe Bartle, what a name! In the early 1960s, and Bartle was nicknamed Chief. Kind of like how, who knows? I wonder if he had a background in the Navy. I don't know. But that's where that came from. And the Chiefs mascot, which makes no sense, is KC Wolf, who was introduced in 1989.
Speaking of chief, one word when somebody calls you. So chief is always my rebound when somebody says, "Hey, what do you need, boss?" Has anybody ever said that? You
I
know-
say chief all the time.
Well, I say,
And-
no, I'm good, Chief.
I do it all the time too.
When somebody says that to you,
Whenever anyone who says, I just say, hey, what's up, chief? I just use it all the
oh
time.
no, I always use it as a comeback. I don't
Oh, for
start it.
boss?
No, for boss, for dude, for slick, for pal, for if anybody says, "Hey pal, how you doing?" I go, "I'm good, Chief."
That's funny. I do it too, but I don't. I just,
But you start with it,
hey, yo, what's up, chief?
right?
How's it going, chief?
And then I would have to come back with, I don't know. I'd have to be quick because normally they don't come to me with Chief. It's always boss. Maybe I'd throw boss back at him.
What-
All's good, boss.
yeah. Chiefette. I've been called chiefette at work.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah. Well, we have a chief meteorologist too, so you
So,
can call him
right,
chief.
right.
But why call everybody chief?
For you, that makes sense. but-
Yeah.
Okay.
The Chiefs mascot again, a wolf. But the
Should
Chiefs.
we play along, like maybe stick Austin here and he can play the role of Daryl Johnston, Moose, 3-time Super Bowl champ that was supposed to be here half an hour ago?
Yeah, that might be fun.
I think it could be.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Then again, he may say something and we're being recorded, so
Yeah, that's
we
true.
don't want that to happen.
Darn ESPN, they think they just got to one up us all the time and take our guests away.
Ah.
All right. What are the Chiefs fans called?
Swifties.
The Red Coaters.
Swifties. I think more are called Swifties now.
Yeah, they probably should be called Swifties.
Well, no, the Swifties are now Chiefs fans.
Oh yeah, they're definitely Chief fans. There's no doubt.
And like I said, I don't know if it was on the air or not. Will all of the Swifties that have become Chiefs fans, will they depart and pick another team when Taylor and Kelsey break up?
Yeah, of
And,
course they are.
and how do you think the
They're
song's
going
going
to go with unless she's still. Oh, it'll probably start off with some Indian. Oh yeah. Knowing Taylor, she's so creative. There's no telling. I think there's a lot of rumors. These are just rumors, okay, Swifties, that there could be an announcement for an engagement after
Really?
the Super Bowl. I've seen it online. It's just rumors, speculation. Would Travis, after such a big event, maybe ask for Tay-Tay's hand in marriage? I mean,
God, do you think he would do that on the field here in New Orleans?
no.
I think it would
Maybe,
be
I
more
don't know.
private. No,
I don't
I
know.
could see them doing it private. They're not going to do it like that.
Yeah, because they don't. It's not like they need press, and I think also it shows that
That they
how-
have the money for the reception.
Oh yes, yeah. They could pay for all of us to go to the reception. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see if it happens, but I don't think he'd do it on the field. He's pretty private.
Let me real
about it.
quick. I know we got a couple more minutes, but in the second hour, first, huge Philadelphia Eagle fan. The Philly guy is going to be here, and then at the bottom of the hour, and I'm even going to say this to him. I'm not even going to say his name right now. I'm going to ask him when he comes because I have a story. How would you like to be addressed?
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say.
Why is that?
I'll tell the story,
Okay.
and he'll understand.
This is another Randy story.
Well, I almost got beat up because I used the wrong name.
Okay, how many? I'm going to stop this for just a moment. How many stories have we heard that start this week so far, just in the last 3 days, that Randy says, I'm going to tell a story because I almost got beat up because.
Well,
I think it's like 4 stories.
I try
now,
to do it.
Randy.
I try to be politically correct. I try to do the right thing, and you will understand the story. And honestly, my friendship with this person changed because of how I called him.
Yeah, he almost beat you up.
He didn't almost beat me up, but
He did beat you up.
No.
Oh, okay.
It wouldn't have taken much when you find out who this person is. But like I said, I don't want to give it away. I want to kind of say it.
I want to know. Speaking of getting beaten up, I want to know. Did you fight as a kid?
No.
You didn't.
No.
Were you ever in fights?
I got knocked out one time.
Yeah.
I didn't see the punch coming. I was talking to a girl in high school at Northeast High School in St. Petersburg.
Oh boy, of course it involves a girl.
And the boyfriend came over, kind of like, well, the Jason Fitz. I was talking to his wife, and she's crying. But you can understand why I would think I was about to get beat up with Jason. He comes up, he sees me talking to his wife, and she's in tears.
Yeah.
What's the first thing you would think?
Randy's done it again.
Right. And it turned out that she was crying. She had happy tears, not sad tears. And if you didn't listen yesterday, Jason Fitz, was it yesterday or the day before? It might have been Tuesday.
2
I think
days
it was
ago.
Tuesday.
It was Tuesday.
Jason Fitz was in the band Perry. He was the band director. classically trained, went to
Violence,
Juilliard.
amazing, yeah.
I've heard stories that he disagreed and had to teach the professors, correct them at Juilliard. Okay, so long story short, as I know we have to hit this break, Jason changed his job. He quit the band pairing to go into sports.
Right.
And everybody said, "Why are you doing this? Are you
Yeah,
crazy?"
number one hits. It was doing fantastic.
And it was kind of like he did the right thing. When I said that my son only wanted to meet Jason because of his talk show, she's like, "What are you talking about?" Blah, 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 blah. And it was tears of joy. Like, maybe Jason's, he's following his heart, he's following his dreams. So you come up the stairs and you see your wife crying and some dude standing, even though you just met him,
Then you punch him.
then you punch him. Luckily, I'm like, no, 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 no. It doesn't happen that way.
Interesting. Okay, so you weren't a fighter. So what made you interested in fighting UFC?
Ken Shamrock somehow early. I just love the sport. I love this. And it's not even fighting. Like, I'm not a big boxing guy. I'm a big mixed martial artist. I love MMA. I love all the disciplines. I love the early MMA where it's your discipline against this discipline. It's sumo versus boxer versus jiu-jitsu. I still love what we are today, but I just love the sport. It's like the title used to be back in the day. It's as real as it
Oh
gets.
yeah.
Back in the day, groin strikes were legal. All
Oh, yeah.
sorts of
Cage
stuff was
fighting
crazy.
back, yeah.
Cage fighting as it is. So
It's really like the late 80s, wasn't it? Almost, right? When it first started, or was it more in the 90s?
no, it's 35 years ago now. So whatever that is. But we're going to have some ex-UFC fighters here later today. We'll have Dustin Poirier tomorrow. Right now, we're going to hit a break, and then a very interesting chat is about to come from one of my brothers. I hate when you say that, though. I only have two brothers. One, that brother thing. You're brothers until you're no longer brothers.
That's right. This is a unicorn. We're actually going to be interviewing a unicorn.
Coming to you live from Radio Row, this is Knockout Radio, brought to you by 8-Man Strong, Staff Zone, and Bucked Up Energy Drink. We'll stay live on YouTube and Facebook. We'll be right back. What? I can't hear you.
Thanks for having me. The what? The unicorn?
Oh, my God. All right, we're going to continue talking, and then we'll come back live in a couple minutes. So let's welcome to the program. And this is almost like what I'm going to do with the next guest. I don't know what to call you because you have a name and then you have another name. So which name are we going with?
So my real name is Jamie, and Jamie Paye, and I go by the Philly Sports Guy.
So which are we doing?
Either way, I'm one and the same guy.
All right, so I'll tell the story now, but then I'm
Okay.
going to also tell the story when this happens on our next conversation. And we are on live on YouTube and Facebook. So I was doing a charity event with Big Black. Big Black was on with, I forget what the show was called. The guy did all the skateboarding stuff, the Fantasy Factory, I think it was called. Put that a little closer. So we're doing a charity event. Big Black walks into the same charity event that Jason Fitz, Leslie, would go to. And he's in the middle of the lobby, and I yelled, "Hey, Christopher," which is his name. And he got violently upset at me. My name's Big Black. Okay, so, it's like in that wrestling thing, and so I didn't know which demeanor, which side. So we're going to go with the Philly guy. Really, we should go with Navy Shipmate.
Okay, absolutely.
To me, that's more important than anything else, especially around the riff-raff Army guys here. So,
Hey, listen, they lost this year.
yeah.
Robin Big. That's it.
Right, Robin Big.
Robin Big, yeah. He was-
And I always call it the Navy Army game,
Right. Well, hey, listen, it doesn't matter what you call it. Most of the time, Navy comes out ahead.
no matter what.
Oh,
No matter-
you're killing me, man. You're killing me.
The bucket list, I went and covered it last year. It was absolutely incredible. But tell me a little bit about yourself. You're dressed up.
Yeah,
You're ready for
you're looking fly. This is first of all, I had saw this guy because he's got this. How do you describe it for the radio? We're on Facebook Live too, so you can. I mean, we're on YouTube Live, so you can see that too. But you got Silverhead dressed out, hardcore mohawk, green mohawk, but it looks good. Okay, he looks like an ultimate Philly fan here, and we're talking.
But you said he's not an ultimate Philly fan.
No, he's not. He's a unicorn.
She is calling you a unicorn.
You know why, right?
Because of the horn on my head.
No, sir, because you're nice.
She said you're a nice
I know,
guy.
there's a lot of nice Philadelphia fans. Just because you don't get to see them
Do
all
they
the
come
time.
out of their house?
They do.
Do they never go to? Do they go to the game? I don't think they go to the games.
You know, I'm a firm believer that the smallest group make the loudest noise sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
And that's
Well,
specifically
there's a
happens
very
in
big,
Philadelphia.
small group at the Philly Stadium. There's a very big, small.
We do get a bad rap. I was born in Philly. I was stationed in Philly, and I take pride that we're hated. You know, sometimes I'm a nice guy, sometimes I'm not, but I take pride in that. You know, and it's like, yep, that's us.
Yeah, nobody likes us. We don't care. It's sort of like a motto that they have.
The other thing that I argue with all these knuckleheads on a non-stop basis is Philly fans did not boo Santa Claus.
So no, the Santa Claus that actually was out there was a knockoff
He
himself.
was an imposter. See, that's what I'm saying.
And if you actually listen to the story, he passed away in 2008. It happened in 1967, I think
Because
it
of
was.
depression,
Uh,
how everyone treated him.
no, absolutely. He recalls that as one of the best days of his life.
When he was booed.
He was booed and said snowballs thrown at him and stuff like that. The real Santa Claus couldn't even make it
Right.
because
He was busy.
he was like, it was a snowstorm.
Okay, guys.
So-
Reindeer don't fly
You
in the
guys are
snow.
killing me. You have now trying to tell me
I have an
that
equal.
it wasn't booed. Santa wasn't booed.
He
because
wasn't.
It wasn't the real Santa.
Right, it
was
was
not
a Santa
Okay,
Claus
that's-
costume.
All right. Okay. All right. Okay.
A guy who weighed like 160 pounds, and so the jacket was kind of falling off him.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of just put it together with the team. It was more
He was dressed as
as Santa Claus, and he was out in the crowd,
okay.
and then.
No, we're now back, live on the network, and we're talking to the Philly guy, Jamie. So Jamie just explained off the air, or off the network, but on YouTube and Facebook, who agrees with me. Santa Claus was not booed. Santa Claus did not get hit by snowballs in Philadelphia at the
It
Veterans
was
Stadium.
just someone who looked
imposter.
exactly like
Right.
Santa Claus, was dressed as
Right.
Santa Claus, but somehow or another, the 80,000 people there or whatever.
So he didn't
No,
have a beard.
the-
He didn't. This guy didn't even have a beard.
You
So
know
this was
why?
more of a. this
No,
was-
earlier a Philly fan ripped it off his face.
that is not true.
What? Okay.
That is not true.
I'm going to go with the expert, believe me.
I know that you want to do the low-hanging fruit. That's
Yeah, you do.
okay. Listen, I've been dealing with this for as long as I've been a fan. So
If you go into the mall and you sit on the lap of the guy in
Yeah.
character, is
Yeah.
that Santa Claus?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Yeah, what happens is the spirit of Santa
Okay, we'll
Claus-
argue later because there's plenty of things we need to talk to Philly guy about.
Okay.
The,
So
the,
Jamie
the
first-
saddest day of my life, one of the saddest days of my life, I'm doing a charity event at Al Lang Stadium in St. Petersburg, Florida, and I hear this guy talking to young kids about the Philly Fanatic. And my buddy, Dave Raymond, tells the kids he's the Philly Fanatic. It's kind of like Santa Claus. It's like, how do you tell anybody you're the Philly Fanatic? We'll talk about the Eagles, but the Philly Fanatic to me is the greatest mascot ever.
I agree, and I know Dave. I
Good
also know the Fanatic's best friend now, Tom, which is really the better way of putting that. I think maybe that was one of the things learned from Dave. That hey, maybe you don't say
Yeah.
that you are that guy,
Right.
because mascots don't talk.
Exactly.
So you know,
Exactly.
but I do some work with the Fanatic. You know, obviously I do this not just for football, but I do it for all the Philadelphia sports teams. I just changed the the colors
The
of my
colors.
face to match my jersey.
Well, you think he outranks the San Diego Chicken?
I think Dave Raymond.
by
I'm
far.
sorry. I think the Philly Fanatic was the greatest mascot of all time. The San Diego Chicken is close. The Phoenix Gorilla is good and is in the top 5. Well, Dave, I don't know if he still has it. He had a mascot Hall of Fame.
He does. It has it's still there. It's in Indiana. I'm good friends with one of the guys who actually plays the mascot for the Mascot Hall of Fame.
Oh, wow.
So it's like I actually am in tune with a lot of the mascots in the area, or in the NFL and things like that. So it's like I'm a big fan of Blue, with the Colts. I think that he does some really good content. I was hanging with the Kansas City. Muskrat or whatever it is.
Why?
Wolf. Because we were doing Good Morning America. So it's.
Do you have when the Philadelphia Phillies played the Rays? Now, we're based in the Tampa Bay area. Everybody knows I'm a Philly fan. That's number one to me. Shane Victorino, all those guys are good friends of mine. Do you think Raymond is kind of a ripoff? Because he does the stomach thing. He's kind of overgrown, similar to the Philly Fanatic.
Say this again.
The
Tampa Bay
Rays mascot, Raymond.
So I'll be honest, I didn't even know his name or anything like that. Mascots are supposed to be like a little oafy and goofy. And so I wouldn't be surprised that because of the way that people took towards the Fanatic, that there's other mascots. I mean, look, we got Gritty now. Now we got one in orange.
Right.
So, and Gritty was, they made college courses about Gritty. So,
There's
he kind of looks a little.
And he does the stomach thing. How he would always do that and that kind of stuff.
I
But
think he does. Rip
He
it.
probably went to the same university.
Yeah, probably.
Mascot University.
Yeah, no, for sure. But talk to us about the Philly guy. Where did it come from? How did it start?
So I've always been a Philadelphia sports fan, and I used to get painted up. I've been getting painted up for Eagles games for about 25 years, and interestingly enough, the playoff game in New Orleans 6 years ago when Alshon Jeffrey missed the ball, I got a lot of airtime that day, and the people got excited to see me. So I got asked by a production company to come out and do a charity commercial for them. While doing the commercial, they're like, "Man, your energy's great. You're like the Philly sports guy. You should see if that name's available." And it was.
Wow.
The Philly sports guy was available. So they said, "Listen, if you want, we'll teach you how to do social media." During that same time, my mother was in the hospital, and she had COPD and emphysema, and she was really on her last leg. And I went in, and she's like, "You're not too fake." Because I got a lot of notoriety from getting recognized here at the game. She goes, "You're not too famous to talk to your mom, are you?" And I'm like, "No, Mom, I'm not." And then I started to tell her that I was considering maybe making this move because I've been a chimney sweep and a stonemason most of my life. So I've had my own business and things like that, but things were rough, and picking up rocks and putting them down isn't a fun job. And she's like, "So I'm talking about maybe doing the Philly sports guy thing as a thing." And she goes, "You know what? If you love what you do, if this is something that you want to do and you're going to love doing it, do it because there ain't no time for regret. We're only above the grass for so long."
Yeah, it's good advice from Mom.
And then she says, when you were 10 years old, you asked me how come people don't get painted up for like the Flyers or for the Sixers or for soccer or anything. Why is it only football?
Yeah.
I says, "Well, what did you answer?" She goes, "I don't know. Go outside and play." So it's. She said she used a couple of expletives in the middle of that as
Yeah,
well.
we're Philadelphia.
So, but it was like, maybe at 10 years old, that was kind of what I wanted to do. And
Isn't that cool that she remembered that?
it was kind of funny to me. I was
Yeah.
like, wow, like that's
was the
that's
moment.
the moment that you remember that you
Because she
told me to go
saw the
outside and play.
passion in your eyes. Probably she stood out to her.
Well, and it kind of evolved over the last few years, and it's really become a thing now. It's I won't say that I speak for everybody from Philadelphia, but it's not about me. It's about how people feel when they see me, and I get a tremendous amount of love. They love seeing me at the games. I take more pictures than anybody I know.
Sure.
I've been told that I might be the most photographed person in Philadelphia, quite possibly the country. And
Really?
they
Taylor Swift might be a little bit of
well,
a-
you know what? But the problem is that she's not accessible
Yeah.
to take the pictures.
Yeah.
So I take, for instance, the NFC Championship game that just happened. I took somewhere in the neighborhood of about 7,500 pictures that
Oh.
day, and that's with people. You know, like, and it's sometimes it's like, hey, and just going back and forth, just trying to get through the line quickly because I can't move.
Right,
It's like
right.
and I can't tell somebody no.
yeah, you hurt, especially kids.
Oh,
you know.
well, it's impossible to do that. It's the kids that is my base.
Are you a Scrapple guy?
A scrap. I like Scrapple. It's got to be crispy.
I love Scrapple.
All right, stand by for a second. What is Scrapple?
You don't want to know.
No.
If you've never tried it, try it, and then I'll tell you.
Where
what
are
it
you
is.
from?
I was born in Florida, raised in Nashville.
So you're
So-
raised in Nashville. I mean, they don't have like black pudding down there or anything like
No, is that
either.
blood pudding? Like
blood pudding? Like,
Oh no, that's Irish. Like
it's similar. It's similar. It's just
That's English.
whatever's left the pig that we didn't eat.
What doesn't go into hot dogs goes into Scrapple.
oh, is it like chitlins and stuff, or like gizzards and things like that? or-
Yeah, ground up and put into
Leather,
Put it
a little
through
bit of a baseball hide. It's,
Do you do blood pudding up
I don't
there?
even know what that is.
Okay.
No,
that's
no, we
thinking-
don't do blood pudding.
Oh, I've
but
had
that's
that.
but
Ugh.
that's what I could compare it to.
Oh, okay.
You know, as
interesting.
something that blood pudding's a little bit more loose. This is a little bit more congealed and put into
Interesting.
a.
The first thing I do when I get to Philly, every single time before I hit the Reading Terminal, is there's a diner not far from the stadiums.
Okay.
There's a big, tall
Penrose?
hotel. Yeah, Penrose. I go to Penrose all the time. I get it a omelet, Scrapple with 2 sides of Scrapple.
There you go. Get it extra thick and extra crispy. That's how I eat it.
It is the best. So obviously your prediction, I don't even need to ask you about Sunday. So what's the score going to be? Not who's going to win.
I have it 36-24.
Really?
I think it's going to be an over. I think that I'm actually very overconfident, you know, much more than I was 2 years ago. And I feel that this team, the Chiefs have been, you know, you could say whatever you want about the refs, and I don't subscribe to that magazine. They have been bringing it out to the wire nonstop.
Right.
And
Yeah.
they are a good team.
But they're
They've-
finding a way. They find a way when you're like, you know, this isn't the Chiefs that we have seen in the last couple of years. They're not as good, but they end up doing it, especially if it comes down, you know, to the final couple minutes and it's a one-score game. It's the stats
If you
are
give,
off
if
the
you
chart
give
with it.
Mahomes the ball towards the end, it's likely that you're going to lose that game.
Yeah.
And I feel that there's a part of me that gets nervous about that for this game. That is it possible that, you know, we're going to have a one-score game and he's going to go down the field like he did 2 years ago and make that happen. I don't believe that this time, though. I feel our defense is much better. I feel that the offensive line is the best in the league, and Kansas City hasn't played a team like us all season long. And the Eagles, 2 years ago when they won the NFC Championship game, they celebrated.
They were happy to be there.
This time
Not
they
without-
were business.
Yeah.
They were,
Yeah.
they
I would
were
agree with
all
that.
business.
It's a different tone.
It was kind of like the NHL and the Stanley Cup. You don't touch that trophy until you win the one that matters.
Absolutely correct.
Right.
And I just felt like that they are much stronger.
How can people listen to you? I understand you have a show, you have a podcast. Talk to us about that real quick.
So you can find me if just Google the Philly Sports Guy, and you can find me on every social media. I do a podcast, a daily podcast called Coast to Coast, and it's Monday through Friday at noon. And you know, it's a guy from Seattle, a guy from Green Bay, and we just talk sports or life and things of that nature.
When did you go to BKFC? I did. Ago? Did you? I was there. I've been with BKFC and Dave Feldman since the very beginning. I wanted to take my former co-host into Kensington and kick him out of the car, because nobody understands what Kensington's like unless you've been there.
No, correct. That's, you know, it's funny because when we went to Brazil, we heard about all this bad stuff that was going to happen in Brazil. And I'm like, listen, you know, if somebody came into Philadelphia from out of the country, you wouldn't bring them to Kensington. Kensington is a war zone, you know, and it's a shame. And they're starting to, you know, the mayor's actually starting to get in there and start to
Good,
try to do
good.
some things there. It's not going to be an overnight situation. That's going to take some time to fix that.
My uncle was a teacher at Olney High, lived in Kensington. My grandfather was a police officer. My uncle wrote for the Inquirer for 50-some years. We have.
Where's your uncle?
His name was Harry Harris.
Okay.
The entertainment. I'll tell you some stuff off the air
Harry
because we do have
Harris.
to.
It took them a long time to figure out what they're going to name him.
I don't get what that means, but all right, let's go hit a break. Philly guy, thank you very much for your time. Tune in. We're going to tune in to listen to what you got going.
Pleasure, Jamie.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
We're going to hit a quick break. We'll be right back. Sorry, this is what happens. I was honestly going to ask that. You know what?
It comes right off with like.
Let's get a fun pick with Jamie. We do a pick real quick? Quick pick? No. Who's your favorite player? Who's your guy?
Jordan Bylaw. I'm a trenches guy.
Oh, yeah? Appreciate it.
I'll come back with my Absolutely. Perfect. Good job.
Greatest team you never know.
All right, we are back coming to you live from Radio Row here, day 3. Knockout Radio brought to you by 8 Man Strong, Staff Zone, and Bucked Up Energy Drink. A lot of good stuff coming. Now, this is where I'm a little nervous. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but you'll see. I'll explain the story here in a second. Let's welcome our next guest, and I'm not going to introduce you. I want you to introduce yourself, and I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
All right.
What it is, I'm Tyrus.
Okay, that's what I needed to know.
Okay.
There was an incident. I did a charity event in Nashville with Big Black. Okay. And we're in the middle of a hotel. And it was called Waiting for Wishes, Rascal Flatts, Kevin Carter, the whole 9 yards. And I yell across the hall, Christopher.
Right.
I almost got killed.
Oh, because you used the government name.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
So I didn't know, I know your name and I know your, so is it a character name? What do we call that? Show name?
Tyrus is technically my middle name.
Okay.
So when one of the problems when you leave the WWE or when they ask you to leave is they own all your intellectual rights, right? So Brodus Clay, which had put me on the forefront when I walked around town, everyone was like Brodus Clay, Brodus Clay, Brodus Clay. So what ends up happening is when you get let go, a lot of wrestlers back in the day, they would go to a new company and they would just give themselves like a lame name that rhymed with Brodus Clay. So I'd be like, Bradis Trey. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Like, you'd be like, ew. So I wanted to completely get away from that altogether. And so I was sitting with John Gerbeck when I went to TNA Wrestling. He's like, you just want to use your government name? And I was like, no, because then I like the separation between the two, because I know the difference between my wife calling me or my kids or my real friends calling me than somebody on the street. And plus, it also when I'm working, I'm working. It's just a good mindset to have. So they were trying to come up with all kinds of different names and stuff, and then I just he was like, "What's your middle name again?" I said, "Tyrus," and he said, wasn't that a demon? One of the
Demon.
devil's top demon in the Bible? And I was like,
No, man, that's Beelzebub.
Beelzebub was the devil, but
Oh, yeah?
apparently Tyrus was the one he sent to fight Jesus. Didn't work out well for Tyrus.
I stand corrected.
Yeah,
We just met, but I know you're a good guy, and I'm going to tell you why I know. Steve Kern is a good friend of mine.
oh, Steve Kern is the man.
And so when they had the center in Tampa,
Yep.
The wrestlers would always come to Smoothie King, not far from the stadium,
Yes.
which was owned by Michael Pittman.
Yes.
And I used to do a show with Pitt. My son used to work there. You know, Mike's like, hey, I need somebody I can trust. I
Yeah.
go, you know, Sean. So I said something to Steve. I go, you know, the wrestlers come in and they're all such great guys. He goes, they have to be.
Yeah.
That's part of the. So I'm saying I knew right away that you were one of the good ones.
Because there's two ways you can do things with Steve Kern: his way or no way.
Right. He's not a play no way.
He did not. He did not play. He worked hard. He was tough. He was direct, but he was fair.
Talk about Florida Championship Wrestling. Now I go back even before then. Gordon Soley, you know, when
Well, I was called a historian by my peers because all I watch is the old stuff. To this day, when I'm on the cardio every morning, actually right now I just went through Barry Windham's portrayal of Lex Luger again.
the Yellow Dog.
Yeah.
Barry Windham was the Yellow Dog.
Yes, he was. But that when he joined the Horsemen, that's where I start at the very beginning and I go all the way up, and then I'll go off into Georgia stuff. Right now with Superstar, he's talking trash, getting ready to get with Mr. Wrestling too. So, but when I got to FCW, it was transitioning from Deep South, which was in Georgia, which was Bill DeMont was the coach, and Jody Hamilton, the great, rest in peace, the Assassin, was our head trainer. And to say, again, same philosophy, my way or no way.
Sure.
And old school as it gets. Like he still wore the mask during the shows and stuff. Like he was about as, and I always loved that about him, was that it's real. It's a sport, and I trained under that. Everyone I trained under had that, so we treat it that way. And so when I got to FCW, and I was Mr. Kern had come down a few times as an agent to work out with guys and stuff, but he was always very, very direct. And my first run there, went there, and I kind of they really didn't know what to do with me. Dusty didn't know what to do with me, and then eventually they were like, hey, let's just cut him loose. And they cut me loose, and I went out and bodyguard for Snoop, and then
Oh, that must have been interesting.
actually, I'm gonna be honest with you. Snoop and I are close to this day, but the entire time that I worked for him, he's about as boring as it gets.
Are
He
you
wants to play his Xbox and wants to coach his youth football and just hang out in his hotel when he's traveling and playing his Madden. He's about like I heard all these crazy party stories, and I was like, not on my watch. And I usually sat on the hotel with the door open right there because I could play my Xbox and just check on him and make sure he had his food. Now, you want to get him on him about his diet, you have every right to, because it's as bad. Like he could do food shopping at 7-Eleven, like real talk.
He's not eating the Martha Stewart
I've
special.
never met a nicer guy.
No, you won't.
We met him on Radio Row. I think it was in Miami, and a super guy.
Yep. And, it was funny. I was his bodyguard. I was locked in. I wasn't planning on leaving. When the opportunity came to go back to WWE, I went to him because he had given me this job, and I committed to work with him for the foreseeable future. And I went up to him. I said, hey, boss, there's this opportunity. I really don't know, because I'm comfortable here, and you've been so great to me and my family. And he just said, listen, you could be a bodyguard the rest of your life, but you are not meant to follow anyone. He's like, you're a star. That's why you make me laugh all the time, and you're always like, you do your job. He says, but you can do this whenever you want to, but I need you to go be a star. Go.
And
I took him at his word. At any time, if I would have failed, I could have called.
Right.
But I didn't have to.
And you're a star in other ways. You got a podcast going on. Why don't you tell me a little bit about that?
Oh, yeah. Well, I got Maintaining with Tyrus, which is on Outkick, and Fox and I are going to launch a new radio podcast coming up in the foreseeable future. We're just working out the details of that stuff. But, and then I got the #1 late night comedy show in the country, the Greg Gutfeld Show. We're destroying the competition, and I think that is really opened doors for me. And then on top of that, my stand-up tour is sold out all over the country, and so it's really been a good time to get revenue streams. A New York Times best-selling book, like writing books and stuff. I've become a real scholar, which is weird. But I still, I still got good buddies like Chael, so he keeps me pretty grounded.
How was the book writing? I hear that's kind of an intense thing to do.
Writing a book was one of the. I didn't know if I'm a funny guy. If I can't do it myself, I don't want to do it. So what the original idea was a ghostwriter, and I was like, who the hell is going to write my voice the way I talk? Especially a guy that I have absolutely a part-time school teacher. No, I was a school teacher, but I was different. But I'm just saying, I talk the way I talk. So I was like, I'm not really interested in that. And they're like, well, we don't think you could write one by yourself. So HarperCollins basically said, no, we're not. we if you do a ghostwriter or whatever, we'll do a book deal with you. If you don't, we'll keep moving. So I bet on myself, and I was like, I'll try myself, and I ended up reaching out to a different book company, and they were like, yeah, she try it, why not? And I got a writing coach, Chris Epting, and it was a battle. It was tough because you don't write it like page 1 to page 300.
Right.
It's just you write probably for a 300-page book, you're gonna have to write 1,000 pages, and then you take all that information, and then you have to trust someone to edit. And my writing coach Chris was editing and like helping me format and put things together so it had a flow to it. And then you submit it, and then they'll tell you, well, we like this, change this, blah, 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 whatever. I got lucky. They're like, we love it. Go, and then the worst thing happens. Your book's going to be published, and you realize you just wrote a memoir where you talked about things you had never really talked about openly before. And I literally called them and said, hey, Post Hill, that's the book company. I said, I've changed my mind. I don't want to do the book anymore.
That
I
went
don't want
well.
to talk about my childhood. I just thought about it, and it's stupid. Can we just take the first 4 chapters out, and I just talk about my time from Fox and wrestling? And they're like, Tyrus, it's already mass produced, and it will be in the stores Wednesday.
But that's what connects people to you. Well, that's the things that people want to hear. They can find out everything else.
Yeah.
You know, they want to hear about who you are inside.
It's
as a
like
person.
walking down the street naked. I'm just telling you, it's a
But
weird.
we've all done that.
Well,
Not me, Randy.
Yeah, sober or conscious. I can't say that I have. but
You
yeah.
know, I came in, I
So
did a
that's one
couple
of those
times
things
in
where
high
you
school.
thought you had peers. Like we've all done that, and everybody, including the brother sitting over there, both went, "Nah, man, no, we've never done that."
I think he's lying, though.
Yeah.
Him over there is lying. What wrestlers, as you were coming up, did you enjoy watching?
Oh man, I've got a long list. So Dusty Rhodes and Nikita Koloff were probably my favorite in WCW at the time. Of course, the Horsemen. Anytime Arn Anderson was in the ring, I was watching it. I don't think there was anyone better technically in the ring. And then King Haku was just one of my all-time. The Islanders, Big John Studd, Paul Orndorff, Piper, Bob Orton does not get enough credit. I watch all his stuff when I'm on card. I still watch all the old school stuff nonstop. Can't get it out of me. I get Andre when he turned heel. I was never a big Hogan guy. I always voted for everyone against him. You know.
Why was that?
Because you know what? I just felt like whenever he was talking, I didn't feel like he was talking to me. So, but whenever Paul Orndorff was talking about him not picking up the phone in the gym when Paul was calling for him, and I had been in that situation as a child.
So relatability.
So the relatability was to the Heenan family.
Okay.
I wanted to belong.
Right.
They cared about. Bobby cared about you. Bobby would cheat to help you win. That's how much he cared about you. He would sacrifice his own personal values for your success, and that's a friend that I want. You know, and so I was not a big Hogan guy. I remember when Orndorff and him jumped out of the blue steel on Saturday Night's main event. I think it was the most watched one. And I cried because Orndorff was first. I knew he was first. And my mother banned me from wrestling. She's like, you were crying. Like, you can't. And I'm like, he's a champ and Hogan's a cheater. And, it's literally like you have to take a break.
Oh man.
And but it couldn't stop me, and it kept going on and on and on. And
How do you, when fans want to come up and talk to you, and they're scared to, or the character, like I'll tell you a real quick story. So I'm at the airport, I'm bringing my mom back home, and I'm looking at the train at Atlanta Airport, and I hear a lady behind me ask somebody, what time is it? Ironically, you just looked at the time, and I heard the response, and I turned around, and I don't get starstruck. I've been doing this for 40-some years. One of my favorite people was Scott Hall, mainly because he went to Gordon Soley's funeral, back in the day.
Right.
So I've always respected him. I've always wanted to meet him. And I turn around and holy crap, he's standing right there. DDP is a mutual friend of his and probably yours and mine as well. And I went up and I said, I hate to be that guy. And he's like, I'd be upset if you didn't.
yeah, no,
And he
that's who
started
Scott
to talk
was.
to me.
And I've always been like that myself. I've never, when you're out in public, and I've been afforded the life that I've been able to have as a result of the fans. You make time. The only time I'm ever like, hey, I'm sorry, I'm not taking pictures when with my kids, just because I'm not going to, this day and age, I'm not telling their mom that I lost my child taking a selfie. with a fan. But Scott was very kind to me, especially difficult time. I was butting heads with the WWE creatively. I had a little bit of a chip on my shoulder, and I wasn't getting booked on TV. So I had to, some of the worst days of your life is sitting back there on the thing, and
Waiting to work.
he came and he sat down next to me, and he's like, "Why the hell aren't you on TV tonight?" And I said, "You tell me, boss." And he was like, "It's probably your attitude." And he's like, "I had the same one." He's like, "You either bet on yourself and you ride this out, or you go in there and you apologize." And he told me some stories that I needed to hear, and I said, "All right, I'm gonna keep my attitude then." He's like, "Worked out for me." He says, "I might not feel it right now, but if you feel it's wrong, it's wrong." And that's not usually the advice you get from veterans and pros. They'll tell you, "Oh, you'd be happy to be here. Thank you. You got catering and this, that, whatever." And he was like, "If you think you can do better, do better." And he told me, like, "Listen, I could have been world champ, and I didn't like the creative direction." And I said no. And then I was going to be, washed up and done, and I remade myself in WCW. He's like, it's possible. You just have to. And it had a lot to do with me betting on myself. And there was a point, because I went from WWE to TNA, and I did stuff in Japan, and was getting ready. And then there was a time when it was like Drew and Bobby and myself. It was interesting us going back to the WWE, but I had just Fox News thing started to take off. It was a chance to do comedy and speak my mind, and it was like, but that was not going to work in the WWE at that time, or anywhere.
Right,
My
right.
acting career went zero. I was doing every TV show, I was getting all kinds of auditions and stuff, and was up for some Marvel projects. And then once I started showing up every week on Fox News, it was done. And then you had to deal with the Uncle Tom BS and all that stuff from people that are hating and for standing your ground and talking about what you believe in and doing it in a funny way. But it continued to grow and grow, and ended up being the number one show in the country. Like we kicked Jimmy Kimmel's ass and all those guys every night, and they got 35 million on us every night. So it becomes, and now when you're through, and Chael said this great to me. He's like, it's funny, you stood in the forest, ran through the forest by yourself. Now all the trees are cut down, and everyone's coming out like, "Oh, we always wanted to be there." And like, "Nah, I'm a little pissed off." Like, "No, where the hell were you 2 years ago, yo?" But it's a really good time right now, and an exciting time. But Hall was always nice to me, and like I said, Dusty. My time with Dusty, I don't think he talked about wrestling with me one time. He was not worried about me in the ring ever. He says, "You know what to do. You know me. You know what to do. I'm worried about you outside the ring. I don't want you to make the same mistakes that I made." And he would talk about that stuff all the time. And then the trade-off was I would demand that he would tell me the truth about some of his matches, because the match he had with superstar Billy Graham, I'm like, "You just went out there and whooped his ass.
Yeah.
Didn't give him nothing." Watch the bull rope match. You can see
Yep.
Billy going, "What did I do? Why are you doing this to me?" And he was like, "Well, he was going to go over. But I was more over than he was, so I was going to whoop his ass." And that's what I did. And I said, "You did. You didn't give him any." He's like, "Hell, I pinned myself because I had to show them how bad I was." And he's like, "I did it." And so one time he jumped on me. He says, "If you had a better attitude, you'd be world champion." I said, "Or I could be the booker, and I could be the world champion and the television champion, United States champion." And he just said, "Get out of my office." "Weren't you the booker?" I'm just saying, like, hey, let me book.
Right.
Things would be a little different at FCW if I'm booking around here. Maybe I like all the titles.
You talk about championships, and you look at wrestling. I would imagine that of all the sports, wrestling is probably the most political,
Yes.
Right?
It can be.
because you can't
But it
have
still comes down to.
you can't have a million champs.
No,
it's
you
so
can't,
few
and
far
nor
between.
should you.
Right.
And I think we kind of got away from that with too many belts. Like when I become the NWA World Champion, my job was to get the NWA World Championship on top of the world, and I got it on a Super Bowl commercial. So my job was done. When I left it at a higher place. That should be your goal. But not all of us should be champions. And in wrestling, it should be in this day and age. Like I love the Uso winning the Royal Rumble because he was the hardest working guy all year, and he went out, and we didn't listen to the marks and the internet, none of that crap. The guy who earned it got it, and that's what wrestling is. It's still a sport, and it still comes down to the working your butt off. And I'm glad to see Triple H and those guys getting back to that. And you're seeing guys who necessarily wouldn't get the chance because they weren't the writer's guy or whatever. It's the guys who are putting the work in the gym, who are putting the work in the rings. Those are the guys that get rewarded. That's how it was back. Ric Flair was who he was because he did the work. And so it's glad to see it getting back to that.
Tyrus, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you,
Love to
guys.
stay in touch. This
Oh,
was
yeah.
all. I could talk
Anytime.
wrestling.
Oh, anytime.
Dusty
Hit me
Rhodes
up.
was my guy as well, and
Oh, yeah.
it's gonna-
I had more talks with him about getting kicked out the house than I ever did getting thrown over a top rope.
Absolutely the best. Thank you
Good
for your
story.
time. Let's go to the
Thank
break.
you.
Coming to you live from Radio Row. This is Knockout Radio. Yeah, it was a real surreal turn.
Oh, he was really good to me, man.
I
Yeah.
want to give you my challenge card, sir.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I collect these so much.
It's,
I just got no. But I support and I use my platform for that. But I get coins from police officers and servicemen all over the country. So this company made me an American flag. It's giant, where I can put all my coins on it. It's almost full. I almost need another one. So I'll send you a picture of it when I put it up there.
Please.
But thank you very much.
Let me take a quick pic. Please.
Thank you.
Come right there.
You got tires?
Huh?
Did you get tires?
Well, let's not take full credit because they came to me.
Wow, I didn't know that. But still,
They did yesterday. They called last.
good dude. You know, and then because I could talk certain, mutual friends and DDP and what was.
With Marcus Smith the second.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm making sure because I know
40.
it's not all that I have.
What do you mean?
I wrote that. I'm just making sure that's.
Hi, we are back. Sorry about that. We had to take a pic with Tyrus. What a good dude.
What a great dude.
Which
Yeah.
honestly I expected, and like I said, when he was on, the fact that he trained under Steve Kern.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're much into wrestling in the Tampa Bay
Well,
area.
I grew up here as a little kid. Okay, so Dusty Rhodes, those kids back in the 70s when we were, little kids, me and my brother, we would watch it and we would get, just like he was saying, he would be crying. We were so appalled. And and how could he do that to him? How could he pick up a just not fair? It was just the not fair things that we saw. So we had a lot of fun with
We
it.
ran out of time, but when he kind of mentioned Terry Bollea, Hulk Hogan, when he turned heel, people lost their minds. People cry. I mean, he was like, they eat the vitamins, read the Bible, do all that crap, and then he turns heel and now he's the bad guy.
Yeah.
Which saved wrestling. I don't know if you know that.
No, I don't. I
Oh,
didn't know that.
it took wrestling to a whole new level. Like, how could he do that? How could he do that? And how so many of these guys stay in character. The Undertaker is always in character. Always. And that's why I said I didn't know what to call Tyrus. Do I call Tyrus? Do I call I like how he said it, his government name.
Yeah.
What he identifies as. I'll throw that one out. But what a super delightful guy to talk to. It was awesome.
And I love how he's reinventing himself all the time. And now he's got the shows. He's getting, a little bit more into politics, but he's standing his ground and it's working out for him.
Yeah, well, and I saw that on his bio, and when you're on Fox,
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah, it's tough. And both ways. I mean, and not just Fox. Fox, obviously, Fox. It is Fox, okay. But even some of the other stations, we're so polarized. It's tough. It's tough.
Should I get in trouble now?
Yeah.
Should
go
I
ahead.
tell you what I love watching?
Yeah, tell me.
I love watching CNN.
There's nothing wrong. I like watching CNN.
No.
I watch.
I love watching it for different reasons.
Oh, what do you watch it for?
I love watching humans cry. And to me, it's so funny. You know, I didn't watch TV. I don't watch news. I don't watch any of
Yeah.
that stuff. You know, I don't care.
At all? You
None
don't
of
watch local news is some of the best news that you can get nowadays. It really is.
I don't. I do
You
not.
don't watch ABC7?
I don't
You
watch.
don't watch my station?
I don't watch news. I don't watch any news.
Randy.
I couldn't. I don't because I don't want to know. I don't care. I just want to live my life. Okay. So
It's upsetting. It's a tough time to be someone who does care, though. Randy.
I get it.
It's rough, and I say that for both sides of things. I just wish people could come more together and realize that we're Americans, and that and veteran Americans. There are liberal veteran Americans. There are conservative veteran Americans, and we're all over the board.
and there are
And
non-veteran Americans.
there are conservative people in California, and there are liberal people in Texas. And I think people just, they tend to associate or polarize one way with one thing. And you got to realize it's just not that way. At the end of the day, we're all Americans. We should be able to at least be kind to one another and voice our opinions if we're going to. That's just my 2 cents worth. But I watch all the stations just to kind of see what's going on. I do.
I don't know when this happened, but I just happened to jump on my emails,
Yeah.
and there is a letter from the NFL commissioner, Roger Goodell, of the passing of Virginia Hallis
Oh.
McCaskey. The Chicago Bears, daughter of the late great George Hallis.
Oh, wow.
And so again, just certain names. Everybody deserves respect, but what name do you think of when you think of the Chicago Bears? Hallis.
Jim McMahon.
Well, but Hallis.
Yeah.
No, I mean we
Super
could.
Bowl shuffle.
I love this. I still have it.
Do you really?
I have the Super Bowl shuffle.
We can get on YouTube.
No,
But what do you mean you have it? You bought it back in the day?
Yeah.
Like, you have a 45 or something of it?
I have a beta.
No, do you really have a beta?
I do.
I'm telling you, half the people, if they're
Nobody knows what a beta is. My dad gave me a little good advice, and he's given me a whole lot of bad advice.
First of all, people usually
hold on
call
a
it
sec. Hold on, hold on.
Betamax.
On the little, the good advice he gave me about when you go in the military, make sure you work in an air-conditioned space. And that's why I went CIC, because the last
man.
thing that would ever lose air conditioning would be the Combat Information Center. The worst advice he gave me was, buy everything in beta. It's the future. So I have the Super Bowl Shuffle. I have some really cool, the Let's Go Mets Go from when they won the World Series. All in beta that I will never be able to see, ever.
Wow. And what is the actual app, the machine called? Betamax.
Betamax.
I
know
think
you-
so,
you-
right?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's called a Betamax machine. I actually have a Betamax machine, so
Well-
I can watch your betas.
More importantly, let me borrow it so I can watch it.
I should just give it to you. I should pay you to take it.
Well, I'll,
That's how useless
I'll
it
trade
is.
you a Grease album I already gave you, a Saturday Night Fever album I already gave you. I know you can go on Google and all that kind of stuff, but yeah, I still have a couple of those. Let's Go, Mets Go. Do that song as well.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Yep.
I don't know
Gary
that one.
Carter, all those guys back in the day.
I would say, what do you think the most famous Super Bowl song is? At this point, I think it might be the Fly Eagle Fly.
Just because of now, but, first of all, I don't know any songs. Like what songs? What's the Buccaneer song? They have a song?
They do have a song. I can't remember it. I do know one song, though, and I
Well,
can
it's
sing
not
it
very
to-
good then if you can't remember.
No,
it.
I know the Rowdies song because it was so catchy and it went for so. The Rowdies
Hey,
are here,
hey,
the
hey.
Rowdies are there. They kick the ball around. The Rowdies are here, the Rowdies are there, and then they follow the
the
ground. They're the Rowdies. The Rowdies are a kick in the grass.
I certainly hope that's not trademarked because we're going to get a ding on YouTube.
Well, listen, I'm telling you, it was a very popular song.
No, it
And-
was.
And anyone who grew up in the 70s, they can sing that song because it was so brilliant. And the Rowdies, people forget, was our first professional team in Tampa before the Bucks. They're soccer, by the way. They're not tier
It's
one.
football.
It's football if we're British.
They're football.
Speaking of other countries, you've got Kiwis over here now. Kiwis, New Zealanders, and Australians over here. NFL is growing all over the world.
I think I just saw something that there's going to be a game in Australia.
That's what he was telling me.
Yeah.
He's so excited. And you know what team is going to be in Australia in 2026?
Hold on a second. Before you say it.
All right.
I know every team that doesn't want to go, That would be all of them.
Because of the yeah.
Yeah, it's a long flight.
They have got to
So who did they screw? Who's going?
the Rams. Yeah. Here's the thing. Maybe
How short is it from the other side to get to Australia?
it's horrible because you cross the international date line. You also cross the equator. It is.
They
it-
won't be a shellback though.
It's something like no, there will not be a shellback with that. I've done it. I've been to Australia, and I think it was 30 hours.
Did you find her there?
What do you mean? Did I find her there?
Did you find her?
Find who?
You went to Australia for one reason, Olivia Newton-John. Did you find her?
No, but no, Olivia. Yeah, I wish I would have found her. I did. I went to her hometown. I went to Melbourne. My good friend that I grew up in high school lives in Melbourne, so this was my opportunity to go over there. And I went for 2 weeks. Let me tell you about the trip to Australia, though. I don't even understand. It's like a future day, minus 5 hours, plus 5 hours, because you're crossing the international date line. So it's like yesterday, today, or whatever. It's like you go back to the future, if that makes sense. It's like Marty McFly when you go to Australia. So the point being, they need to give the teams that go to Australia a bye. You can't do. You
Oh,
can't.
I'm sure. So, yeah, I'm sure.
Both of them.
I'm sure.
They can't be turning around because, and I don't even care if it's first class. It doesn't.
No, it's still, you're on a plane a long time.
Yeah, and you usually, I don't. Oh, I know why it's L.A. I know why it's L.A. That's the shortest. Well, it's got to be another team too.
I just said that.
It's the shortest flight.
That's what I just said to
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
Thanks
you
for
did.
tuning in. Oh my God, Matt McClellan is here.
Listen, it could be. It could be. Maybe it'll be like Arizona. And I don't know. It's not that much further. If you a couple hours.
Well,
for
a
the other
couple
team.
hours on a plane when you're on it for 2.5 days means
They
something.
typically will refuel in.
The air.
No, they refuel sometimes in Hawaii or Japan or Korea or something like that. Somewhere in Asia, you'll usually refuel and then continue on. I'm sure there's some flights that could make the whole thing, but I've never been on one. I don't know if there's direct flights. There might be. But that's exciting. Australia, going down under. What do you,
Yeah,
what do you
well,
think of that?
Well,
Katie?
they're trying to go global. You know,
Yeah.
everybody says the NFL's so big. It's not the biggest. Soccer, football is the biggest
I know.
worldwide.
Let me tell you, have you been to England lately?
No, but I've been to England.
Okay, within the last, 5 years,
No,
10 years?
about 10
okay.
years probably.
Okay, was there an NFL presence?
No.
Okay, it's massive now.
No.
So on Sunday, and
So-
I mean massive, you go down the street,
Yeah.
certain streets, and there's massive flags. Like, you'd think that King Charles is coming down.
It still hasn't leapfrogged soccer.
No, it has not.
You know,
it has
and,
not.
and I don't think it ever will. Maybe well, I don't want to say ever. I think it's going to take a long time of generations. You know, right now the generations over there are soccer.
I'll tell you what's really cool. Australian rules football. Now I've been to one of their matches, and first of all, it's a mixture of soccer, football, and rugby all in one.
I'm a rugby guy. I love rugby.
It's one of the fastest games I've ever seen. They don't really stop the clock, and I've never seen individuals run more. They run more in soccer. They don't run as much in soccer as they do in Australian rules football. And the field, I think the field is about. It looks like it's twice the size of our American football field, and all they do is run around. It's pretty tough stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we ought to get that. We ought to get that Kiwi or that.
Rugby sevens.
yes.
I love rugby sevens.
Why?
Well, it's less people, obviously.
Okay.
You know, so it's 7-on-7 on a
Right.
full field. You get a lot more run and a lot more, I think action. When you have whatever their number is, 11, 12, 412 on each team on a field, not a lot happens. You get some great runs. I like 7-on-7s. I've seen it in Vegas.
Yeah, they get taken. More people get taken down quicker.
Right, when it's 50-on-50.
But it's also harder hitting 7-on-7, don't you think?
Well, yeah, because you can get drilled.
Yeah, you
you
get
know.
drilled.
It's when I went to sevens in Vegas, if it says it starts at noon, it starts at noon. And halftime is whatever. I don't know how long they are, but we'll say halftime's at 12:07. They take a minute and a half. At 12:10, they're done at 12:17. The next one starts at 12:20. They shoo them off. The next one's it's like nonstop, one right after another. I enjoyed it a lot.
Do you think we could finally get another NFL team? And if so, where would you think it's going to come from? What's it?
come from, or where would it go?
Oh, wait,
where
wait.
would it go?
Yeah.
You know, obviously they made a great decision in putting one in Vegas.
Yeah.
I don't know what city I would think of.
You know who needs it? You know, who really needs it? The North, the central north part of America. If you put one, let's say not even maybe Fargo, maybe
See, I don't know.
Wyoming, because nobody look. You don't have Iowa. It's college everywhere. You know people from Iowa. They typically like the Bears or the Packers. You put something in Iowa with those diehard football fans. Nebraska. You put it up there in the heartland.
Nebraska, maybe.
The Dakotas,
Maybe.
2 of those states, Wyoming, none of these areas, Idaho, all of that, there's no professional football team
No.
in like
But,
6
but
states.
obviously for a reason.
Well, because there's not as many people there.
Right.
But if you put it like, for
People are going to
example,
move there.
No. I think that what happens is look at Green Bay. Come on, there's nobody in that city, and yet everybody goes to the games. So if you take a city, it will help.
Everybody who
bring
lives,
people.
everybody who
If you
lives in
build it-
Green Bay goes to the game.
If you build it, they will come.
No, that's probably true.
Yeah, so you put something in Montana. You help these Cheyenne. You have a Cheyenne team, tiny little towns or whatever. And North Dakota, I don't know, it's a couple 100,000 people. I'm telling you, you put something up there and people are going to drive to go see it. There's not that much congestion up there, believe me.
See what? But that's why they went in Vegas, because people will go to Vegas. People will want to see their team, but they're not going to the Dakotas. They're not going to go to Montana. I don't think so. They're going to wait until that team plays Vegas. That team plays in New York. So I think the cities are just as important.
You don't think if you put a team in Fargo that it's not going to sell out all the time? People in South Dakota and people over in Montana,
Well, yeah.
Wyoming
the
are going to
locals.
come. Yeah, but I mean, it's going to sell out. You're going to get an entire. It's going to be like New England in a sense, because I know you've got.
Well, New
you've got
England's
the
Boston.
Patriots. Right, but what I'm saying is people in other states identify with the Patriots. So you could even call it, because they call it New England, but we all really know it's the Boston Patriots, right? But
That's
you
right.
call it the New England Patriots because you
you
want to
rope everybody
appeal.
in.
Yeah, you rope everybody in. So you do something like that up in whatever, Cheyenne or just somewhere in Idaho or something, in Fargo. And then you rope in all of the central north part, the Canadian line, I like to call it. I think it would work.
I know what's going to work is once we get off and I can eat some of these dang wings.
I know. Can you smell them?
No, but I can see them.
Oh, did he bring them over to you?
That's even worse.
Okay, guys, they got a New Orleans area over here too. They had crawfish, so that's the bounty.
Right, that's the
people.
bounty.
The quicker picker-uppers
Right.
are giving away wings.
Yeah.
And then we've got Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh section
Right.
is giving away, what were those Polish treats they had?
Well, I thought that stuff came from Lambeau Field.
No. Something that there's a big Polish. Apparently, there's a lot of Poles in Pittsburgh. They were telling
Telephone.
us. No.
There's a lot of telephone poles there.
Best Polish joke I've ever heard. No, no, it's something. What were those Polish things that we ate? Anyways, yesterday they kind of look like a pot sticker, but they have cheese in the center. They were fantastic. And then you've got Green Bay, and they've got typical grilled cheese,
Stuff.
and and it's cheese and bratwurst
Hey,
and stuff.
food is food.
Crawfish down there in New Orleans.
Food is good.
Yeah. It's really the reason we come here.
No, it's really not, because we don't get to eat it. That's the problem. If you're on air, you can't run over there. You can't go grab a little something.
We do
something.
miss out. We do miss out a little bit. But I get to it. I just tell Randy I have to go use the bathroom. I'm really just going over there to get the food.
No, that's all right. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go move the car.
Yeah.
I don't have a car here, but
Don't have a car.
yeah, but I'm certainly gonna go. I'm certainly gonna go move it.
Yeah, I'm going to be flying home now, guys. I got to get a ticket because Randy is going to be going up in a fixed wing plane chopper.
Yeah, half chopper,
Marines.
half chopper, half plane. So I
Yeah.
guess it lifts up like a helicopter, and then turns into a plane and takes off.
So it has the speed and the height of a plane, but it can land like a chopper.
I hope
It doesn't need a runway.
I'm really hoping that it has the speed of a plane, or we're screwed.
It's brilliant.
No,
Yeah. What's the name of that?
ask military dudes. Hey, military dudes,
What is the name
What's
of
the name of the- what-
fixed wing chopper that
what's the name
Randy's
of the
going to be
chopper that
going
we're
up
going
in?
that we're going up on? What's the name
Yeah.
of the chopper? An Osprey.
Oh, an Osprey.
Yeah, Osprey.
Oh, super cool. Thank you.
So yeah, so we're going up on
Thank you,
the
Austin.
Osprey, and we will be doing that tomorrow, which shafts all of us because we all were leaving. And like I said, it figures. I always stay till Saturday.
You should just know this, that you're going to stay till Saturday.
I've always stayed till Saturday, and that was the plan. And
Where are you going to stay? Because our room in our little house.
Oh, we got a
Is that-
great we got a great B&B.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Just for one night?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's called the Apart. The Apart.
The Appalled?
The Apart.
What's that stand for?
AIR. The Apart. P-O-R-T. The Apart.
Okay.
The airport.
Oh, oh God. Jiminy Christmas.
I got a nice little chair there.
That's French. That's Randy's French for airport is the El Pop.
The
I don't know
Apart.
what he was saying.
We will be staying at the Apart. No,
You
we're
know,
not.
I got to say, it is kind of cool here just to go around in New Orleans. I've come here once before, but you forget how different this part of the country is with the French influence. Like a lot of the street names are still French, and this was Napoleon's territory at one point. People forget that. You know, so we know, like, we have St. Augustine in Florida, which is, of course, the oldest city in Florida because the very first discoveries came through the state of Florida. People, it's not New England, it's not Philly.
But it's
it
not
ain't
the
Philly.
oldest city in Florida.
Yeah, it is.
I thought it was the oldest city, period.
No. Do you think it's older than what? Than Egypt?
No, in America.
Well, that's not period.
No, well, America's all that matters to me.
No, that's the oldest city meaning it's in Florida. The oldest city in America is in Florida.
Okay.
Let me rephrase
Right. Well, you said the oldest city in
that.
Florida.
Well, it's that too. That's not
Well,
incorrect.
no, that's not. I didn't say you were wrong. I just said that it's more than just the oldest city in Florida.
Just say a lot of people from Philly like to think that it's Philly or something, and it's not, or somewhere up in the Northeast because the English, and it's not. The Spaniards were here. Spaniards were here, and that's the oldest. But then you move out here, and people forget about just how French this area is.
Did you talk to the neighbor of the B&B,
No.
the owners of? He spoke to us for about 4 minutes, and I have no idea what he said.
Yeah, it's a weird accent, isn't
That
it?
accent here is like,
Yeah, we went down to the pub. There's an Irish pub down there, down the street from us, and we went in there. I got a guinea. Here's what's crazy too, they let you take the guinea. I was like, "Could I have a guinea to go?" And I was joking. He's like, "Oh yeah, sure." And then he pours me Guinness. He's like, "Have a good day," and I can walk out of the pub and walk back to our Airbnb with an open Guinness in a cup.
life is good.
It's certainly different here.
It's
that's
better
for
to
sure.
walk with it than drive with it.
I would never drive with it, but
I'm just saying.
do they let you drive with it open in the vehicle too?
That's what I'm saying. You know,
Wow.
I would rather them let you open container and walk
Yeah.
than not, and then you take it into a car
Yeah.
and do what's called drive. All right, we are at the top of the hour, 2 hours down, 1 hour to go. And then on YouTube, after the next hour, we're going to have Paige Van Zant and Hannah Goldie. Looking forward to that. Right now, top of the hour, this is Knockout Radio, brought to you by Staff Zone, Bucked Up Energy Drink, and 8-Man Straw.
Go grab food real quick. Oops, it- Yep. 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 Go get food. You have 2 minutes.
Go, 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 go. All right, we're continuing here on Radio Row. This is Knockout Radio, brought to you by 8 Man Strong, Staff Zone, and Bucked Up Energy Drink. Scheduled coming up next hour, Paige Van Zandt, Hannah Goldie's going to be stopping by. We're going to run a little bit longer of our show into Tracy Nelson's show. We're going to say hi to her. Coming up momentarily, hopefully, will be the Military 250 launch here at the Super Bowl, and they're going to explain what that is. Then we're going to have Ben from the USO stopping by. And I can tell my USO experiences in Boston. Miles Killebrew at the bottom of the hour. And believe it or not, we're almost at the end.
Crazy.
You know, a short period tomorrow, very short. Then Dustin Poirier, we're going to be able to speak to him around on the YouTube channel. And then we're going to go up in the Big Bird.
It's going to be exciting. It's really gotten kind of hectic and crazy. I was just looking over at the USO. You mentioned them a moment ago. They've got MREs over there, Randy. They've got MREs.
Never had one.
What do you mean?
We got fed in the Navy. We ate
Oh,
food.
goodness. You never even had the opportunity ever?
Never.
They always gave you. Didn't you get sea rations or something like that?
No, we get food. We'd go into the.
Well, where's the thought of sea rations come from?
I couldn't.
Maybe
tell.
it was before your time.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
Oh no.
Somebody can Google what sea rations are, but we just went, and there was food in the deli,
They were
in the galley.
Navy versions, I think, of an MRE, but they were kind of in cans. Anyhow, the MREs is meals ready to eat, and it's basically a bag of the food that the Army gives you, and it has a little packet inside that you can pour water in and it heats the food. But we carry these around when we go on bivouacs or when we're going to be in the field for a long time. And unlike Randy, we don't get catered to. I mean, sometimes they
Sea
do there. I
rations
mean,
were canned and preserved food
There we go.
issued to U.S. military during and after World War II in Vietnam.
There you go.
The rations were intended
There
to
we
be
go.
eaten in the field when troops were not near a mess hall. Well, see, I was smart. I was smart. I was on a ship. I never had to.
I wonder why they call them sea rations. Maybe because they had to, were they transported them by sea? I don't know. But I knew they were in cans, and that was a problem. So now everything's in a bag. You just rip it open.
Kelly just took this up.
Oh, he did? I'm eating some gumbo right
Well,
now.
everybody's eating. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
the
good.
gumbo's
I'm glad
really
everybody's eating. I'm glad this 16-8 diet is working because I can't eat. But I'm going to eat. Kelly said the wings are awesome. All right, so momentarily we're going to do the military 250. If they're not here in the next couple minutes, they are out, and we'll go directly to the USO. So this is the one thing that drives me crazy. You know, you set a schedule. I guess this might be the military in me. You set a schedule, and either they don't show, they're late, you know, because they're being held longer. And that's why, you know, I hate the word handler, but the handler's like, let's go, because, you know, there's schedules to keep.
Yeah.
And it throws everything off when nobody keeps it.
Because sometimes you go a little long, you know, or sometimes you take precedence. Like everybody wants, obviously, to get out on knockout radio. So, you know.
I'm going to give them
more, you know.
1 or 2 more minutes, and then we're going to step back and punt.
Sounds good.
Yeah, you know, they're not late yet because,
Yeah.
you know, my family gives me a hard time. I'm like, all right, we're going to leave at 7. And at 6:45, I'm like, where the hell are you? Well, you said 7. Well, let's go. Well, we're not ready. You said 7.
I just got your text that says, what's the ETA for this morning? I just saw it. You know, they answered it, said, I'm at the convention center.
Yeah.
I don't know where you are.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. I'm like, I just thought it was you. I'm learning, you know, with Army. So if we need to leave at 7, I need to tell some Army, because I don't want some Army. If we're leaving at 7, moving forward, I'm going to tell some Army at 6:15.
I was there at
At what?
before 7. I was there before 7 today. I was there at like
Yeah, go ahead.
6:45, I think.
Yeah, go ahead. What time were we leaving?
6:45.
No,
No?
no. We were leaving at 6:30.
Oh, well, this is a problem. That was a problem.
But
we
you're
got-
consistent.
Yeah, hey, I was, you know, we got there. We got here. Actually, everything worked out because
Yeah.
we got here, you know, in the 7 o'clock hour. Maybe a little later. than
7:59 is considered in the 7 o'clock hour. So
You wanted to get here by 8, and we did that.
well, it doesn't bother me. It only bothered the person who would have liked to have slept a little bit longer. That's all. That's all
I
I'm
had
saying.
let's talk about sleep here because I was going to be driving back and with Austin, I can no longer do that. So, or it would have to be on Saturday, and I have to be back forecasting the weather for ABC 7 on Saturday. So I had to book a flight, and I have this Frontier pass. But I had to wait until midnight to book it. So I couldn't even sleep, even though I wanted to sleep. I had to keep myself up. So
All right, I know I've told this story a few times, numerous times, but we're all veterans here.
Yeah.
You know, some are just considered more of a veteran because I'm Navy and, of course, you
Disrespect.
3. Yeah, it is what it is, as Army. Ben, how are you doing, sir?
hi, Ben.
I'm doing all right. Thank you for having me.
You're with the USO.
I am
Official title is?
Senior Brand Partnerships Manager.
So you're the U in USO.
I'll take it.
I don't know how much they told you about the US, you know, my portion of the USO, and it meant so much when I was in the military, and it means so much now as a veteran. I was stationed in Boston, you know, away from home, not knowing where to do, and I don't want to just walk around aimlessly, so I started to hang out at the USO. And then I don't know if they still do it, but back then there'd be like these little sticky yellow notes where I got a part-time job. Now, some people are like, you're in the military. Why do you need a part-time job? Well, I had free time. And I'm a fan of money, and I'm a fan of making more money and daily pay and that kind of stuff. And every day for probably 8 months or a year, I went to the USO, except for one day. One day I'm walking to go to the USO to get on the train in Boston, A guy talks me into, hey, let's go to this nursing college. I'm like, no, I want to go make $25 today. I can go get a better meal later, blah, blah, blah. And that's where I met my wife. So the one day I didn't go to the USO, great things happened, but great things happened every day I went to the USO. Talk to us about the USO.
No, absolutely. I really think you kind of summed it up there. I think we're really, at the end of the day, all about connection. I think that's really what the USO is we're connecting service members to family, home, and country. And whether it's your story, whether it's the story of a family, a single service member, single service man or woman, that's really what the USO is all about, is really connecting folks back to family, home, and country. And especially that takes place a lot overseas. That's really where I think the bulk of a lot of the USO services are really felt, is you are kind of separated by oceans, right? And you don't really have a piece of America, a piece of home with you. And so when you walk into a USO center, whether it's grabbing a Coca-Cola, grabbing a Snickers bar, sitting there and watching the Super Bowl, coming up this Sunday, you're really able to walk into the center and kind of decompress, relax, and just take a load off.
It's like a safe place, is what I thought of it in Boston. And when I fly out of Tampa International and I see the USO, it's just a cool feeling, and I've been out of the military longer than you've probably been alive, but it just sticks with, like, we're proud veterans, we harass each other, but seeing those 3 letters and everything means a lot.
That's what we walk around Super Bowl experience. We walk around, everywhere, just even out here. Everybody will recognize the logo and just think back to a fond memory they had, even if it was one time, right? They'll think about when the USO was there for them, whether they're, out in the Middle East and we brought out some water and some snacks, whether they got a care pack from us. Really, that's where we are, to make those moments happen, and to make sure that folks feel that they're appreciated.
I think one of the most recognizable things in America about the USO would probably have to be entertainment. When you look back, even, back in the 40s, and you guys would organize all these wonderful entertainers and ship them off and get them over to, places in were fighting World War II,
wherever,
in
yeah.
Vietnam. And even out in, when I was stationed in Los Angeles, we actually had one of our weekends where the USO came and, did some song and dance. And so that was my experience. It was a lot of fun. It just it lifts you up for a little bit.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Entertainment's kind of been the backbone and the core of the organization throughout its history, obviously starting with Bob Hope, but I think we've evolved with the times when it comes to that, and we still continue those in-person tours overseas. Every year we'll do a tour with the NFL overseas. We'll take a couple players, usually in the off season. This past year in 2024,
I'm sure the team is happy that it's during the off season.
Yeah, exactly. So the guys can, they can experience what a day in the life of a service member is like, right? So this past year we went to Poland. The year before that we went to Alaska. So really kind of remote areas, remote environments for folks for them to kind of experience that.
And I know a lot of people, there's a radio station, the second longest UFC show in the country, based out of Las Vegas. They would put this together, and what they would tell me is this is just as much for them as it is for our troops, because they get to see what we all went through.
Absolutely. I think that's a huge part of it. It's one of those things where it's tough to put into words and describe until you actually see it, until you're actually on the ground and you kind of you see what things look like. So being able to physically be there and to visit the troops and to shake somebody's hand, to sit down and have lunch with them, it's just a whole different experience.
And a lot of times, and we've talked about this before, everybody's now over the last couple of years, you thank people for their service and that kind of stuff. And, sometimes it's very welcomed. I don't want this to sound wrong, and I normally stick my foot in my mouth. A lot of times it's just like lip service. You just say it, welcome, welcome, welcome. But when you do that and you go overseas and you say that, while we're over there, it means something to both, to the person saying it as well as, the service member that's receiving that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think we hear so many stories from players and entertainers we've taken of how they just have a different respect and different appreciation for the military, once they're able to go and to hang out and to kind of see a day in their life. And it's amazing. And I love to talk about the partnership we have with the NFL, because it's a huge part of what we do as an organization. So and they're been amazing with us, having players engage with us on the tours. So, yeah.
It's like when Toby Keith would go over there. I mean, that's all he cared about.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was great. Great music.
And again, I never got to witness it. I was on a ship and blah, 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 blah. But, I can imagine, the troops over there and, that somebody cares to come over and see us and say hi.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of ships, so just recently over the past, 2 years or so, obviously you're familiar with the USO centers in our airports and on bases. What we've done recently is put USO centers on all U.S. carriers.
Shut
Oh
up.
really?
Wow.
Absolutely. So the Navy came to us and said, hey, we're looking to kind of
Boost morale.
and, provide a space, a quiet, comforting space similar to what we have, in our normal centers. And we worked with the Navy to build out. They gave us remnant space on the ship. We worked with them. It's totally decked out like a normal USO center. You have your TVs, your snacks, your quiet areas, and everything. And as you can imagine, there's sometimes not much to do when you're at sea. So what do? You go to the USO center when you have a break, right?
First question, who mans that? Or is that military or civilian?
They were all self-staffed, so it's all staffed by the military. It's all
Okay.
volunteer-led.
Okay.
So there's a core group on each carrier who kind of leads that. Same operation, same kind of standards as you would have at a normal center, but it's all, and we've often had service members who have been put up for different awards because of their work and support for the centers. And they've been a huge success for the organization, and oftentimes, at least the past couple months, some of our highest traffic centers, because as you imagine, like I said,
Sure.
you don't have much to do out there, so might as well go watch an NFL game, go grab a snack, hang out.
I totally get why it's on the aircraft carrier.
Yep.
Because what people may or may not know, it's basically a moving city. But
Yep.
really what needs that more are the smaller ships, the destroyers, like on the destroyer, there was nothing to do.
Yep.
On an aircraft carrier, there's game rooms, there's basketball courts, there is stuff.
Yep.
But I did not know that. That is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, so we're kind of at we have, I think, one or two more to build. But I think we've already built about 6 of them. I think there's 8 carriers in the fleet. And so we're hopefully finishing those up over the next, year to 2. It's been a huge success for the organization. We're really excited about it. The Navy has been amazing.
Well, we are. Yeah, I wouldn't expect nothing else.
Absolutely.
Try to put one on an army base real quick because I know you want to jump in. I know that if you were to put it on a destroyer, it would be like in a closet, or at least on the aircraft carrier you have some room.
Hey, well, it's a great point. I mean, every carrier is different. And every carrier is different. The space that we're given is different, so we have to customize it to the space. And now, because the program has had so much success, ships are coming back, and they're like, what do you think you could do with this space? Or what do you think you could do with this space? Because they're starting to identify, they've just
That's
seen the
awesome.
success and the morale from folks, and they're like, let's add more to it.
I was wondering who can go into the USO. You mentioned them in the airport. So what is the what's the membership?
Yeah, sure. So it's active duty service members and their families, as well as retired folks who have 20 years of service.
Okay.
So
An active duty reserve.
active duty reserve,
Okay.
National Guard.
Okay.
So really, yeah, as long as you're in the service, you have access to our services, airport or otherwise.
So no veterans unless they're no just veterans, but veterans if
Let me
they have
think
been in
about
20
that.
years.
Correct.
Or, okay.
Correct.
Okay. There's a little bit of a difference. If
Yeah.
you're military, you know what I'm talking about. A little bit of a difference here.
Exactly.
Okay, that's
Exactly.
great. And then, and what are some of the services you provide in the airports? It's a great opportunity instead of going and paying to go into the Premier Club. If you're active duty or if you're a retired veteran, you can go to USO Club.
No, you're 100% right. I mean, that's where a lot of it is. As you can imagine, the military, it's not a first class travel agent. So there's often layovers, and you have to be waiting at the airport for a while. So this gives you an opportunity. If you have a 6-hour layover, or if you have a lot of time to kill, you kind of go into the lounge. We have TVs, quiet rooms, snacks, video games, play spaces for the kids.
That's great.
It's really like I said, it's kind of a respite especially I mean, there's a lot of people who don't like to travel, right? It's a bore sometimes. So it's an opportunity to kind of rest and relax and get away from the noise.
How can more people get more information? How can they get involved? How can they volunteer?
Absolutely. I'd go to USO.org. We have everything there. For the opportunity to donate, go to USO.org. Volunteer, go to USO.org. And we'd love to have you.
Awesome. We appreciate your time. Thank you very much. Let's go hit a quick break. Coming to you live from New Orleans. This is Knockout Radio. Thank you. Appreciate it. See if we can get Bobby Lashley, the guy carrying the belt.
He came over. I had him coming over. That's why I was going to call. He saw me. I didn't expect to stand there. I told him.
I don't. We're back. We're back. All right, we are back coming to you live from Radio Row, closing out whatever hour number this is. We're going to stay on the YouTube channel. We're going to stay on the Facebook page. We're going to continue. Brought to you by 8 Man Strong, Staff Zone, and Bucked Up Energy Drink. Bobby Lashley just walked by, and everything was good. We were having a nice conversation, and I thought he would like when I said that I cornered a guy who fought him in Miami, the week before the Super Bowl in Miami.
Yeah, what was the reaction?
Not good.
No, no.
Now, Bobby won the fight.
Yeah.
You know, he fought against my good friend Wes Sims.
I thought he was going to come back. I thought he was going to sit down with us, but
No, when I asked him, he said, once I said Wes Sims, he was gone.
Aw,
He
man.
was like a bolt of lightning.
you know, you just got to
Not drop names.
Pick your battles, Randy.
Well, I got paid to corner Wes Sims, who's my guy. Wes Sims is my guy. He's one of the most loyal people. I know that we have a couple minutes before Miles Killebrew is coming. So Wes Sims was scheduled to have a fight
Okay.
and then got offered a fight for $50,000. Okay, he was fighting for free for a charity event. He got offered a fight for over $50,000. He calls me, he goes, Randy, what should I do? I said, you should take the $50,000 fight. He goes, well, but I gave my word that I would fight this charity event for, if you're into MMA, and hopefully most of you are since it's Knockout Radio, the owner of MMA Weekly, Ryan Bennett, passed away in a tragic car accident, and everybody did a lot of fundraising for the family. And he would say, you know, I gave my word to Ryan. And then I talked him into doing it. And then
The fight
the,
for 50
the,
grand.
the fight for 50 grand against Boss Rutten.
Okay.
And then 20 minutes later, this went on all night long. It started at 10 o'clock at night, probably ended around 3 in the morning, nonstop calling back and forth. I had him talked into it. 20 minutes later, he calls. He goes, nah, I got talk. You know, I gave my word. I'm like, Wes, I'm telling you that Ryan Bennett is screaming from heaven. If you believe in that, take the fight. This is an opportunity. Boss Rutten, a legend in the MMA world, had him talked into it. 20 minutes later, he'd call back. I'm like, Wes, if it's about the money, donate half the money. Donate all the money. It's not about the 50 grand that you can make. It's the fight against Boss Ruth.
Oh no, that's a good point because I'm like, I'm battling this because charity, they're trying to raise money, but you're right. If you can fight him, get the fight, and then donate.
Some of it,
Donate,
all of it.
yeah, whatever they
You-
think they would make with
Exactly.
them fighting there. Yes.
This was probably the biggest opportunity that Wes Sims ever had. Okay.
All right.
And he declined it. And to this day, he declined it. And he said, my word means something. And
Oh,
I
you
said,
gotta
I'm going to do
respect
it.
that.
No,
You
I do
gotta
respect
respect
it.
that, yeah.
So then he's getting ready to fight the guy who just walked by, Bobby Lashley.
Okay.
And he said, can you help me get a sponsor? But, a sponsor. I go, yeah. So I called my buddy Nathan, who owned Warrior Wear at the time, and I got him a sponsorship. And, there's agent this and agent that and all this stuff. And he goes, I'll give you X amount of %, which helped pay for the B&B that I rented in Miami to cover the fight and to cover the Super Bowl.
Randy always wheeling and dealing, man.
Well, I didn't ask. He just said, you get X amount of %. Okay, fine.
That's
so,
great.
so I got him X, and then all of a sudden he goes, my manager got me more money. I go, my manager got me more money, and I have to take it. We all knew, I'm not going to say names, that the manager wasn't going to come through. And he didn't, of course.
Okay.
But he said, I'm not going to take Warrior Wear. So Wes goes, I'll tell you what, I know that I was going to give you X amount of dollars. You corner me in this fight, and I'll give you the money that you were going to get, for playing the agent role and getting me the sponsorship.
Okay.
So I'm literally in the corner. I'm holding the banner up, so it's the second time, that I cornered a fight. But it didn't go well for Wes. Bobby Lashley beat him
Yeah.
pretty soundly, pretty quickly.
Ugh.
And it is what it is. That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
And you were you've only in your childhood. I just want to go back to this. You've only been beat up once, right? Or knocked out once.
I only got knocked out once.
Okay, knocked
Yeah.
out. Then
Yeah.
you came to. And who was it that knocked you out? The guy. It was a girlfriend thing, right?
Yeah,
boyfriend
you're right.
came
It was the
over and
boyfriend of
fought
a girl that I was talking to.
Yeah. See, I was a fighter. I fought all the time. Starting from like the 3rd grade. But when you grow up with 4 brothers and you're the youngest and you're the only girl, that's what happens.
Well, I fought with my older brother.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, but I don't count that.
Oh, you don't?
No, that's not. No.
'Cause it wasn't real fighting.
Well, no, it was real fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still hold a grudge.
Okay.
Was it last week? No, Was it last week we had the Leonard Skinner people on? The week before, you were not. Were you there? You were not there. I don't remember.
Yeah, I was there.
Okay.
Yeah, the Van Zants.
Right. Well, and that's when he said I should let it go. Mainly, he's referencing because Ronnie, his brother,
Yeah.
is gone.
Yeah.
But I still, in the back of my mind, there's numerous reasons, but one is the fights that we had back in the day.
They're hard to let. Sibling rivalries are tough.
We were too close in age. We're 2
Yeah.
years apart, very competitive.
Yeah.
We'd play basketball in the driveway, and
Who was better?
in what?
Basketball.
Well, he was taller than me.
Well,
I was a better
I'm
player.
not asking for excuses.
Well,
I'm
no,
just
I was
wondering
a-
who was better. Andy.
I was better.
Okay.
I was better. He was better at me in band.
Okay. What did he play?
He played trumpet.
Okay.
He was
What'd you play?
He,
The flute?
He was the best trumpet player in. Now, if you want to make jokes, we can make some jokes now. I being a smart ass here. I was
What'd you
made.
play?
I was made to play the trumpet.
Okay. What did you want to play? The flute?
I didn't want to play at all.
Okay.
I hated band. But I was made to play the trumpet so that my brother could get a new trumpet and I would get the old piece of crap hand-me-down.
Okay.
Okay. Now, my brother was the best trumpet player in the state, in the world.
Oh,
He-
that's a tough act to follow.
he was fantastic.
in the world.
He was pretty damn
Yeah,
good.
that's
He
cool.
was pretty good. So, me being me, and you know me well enough, if he was the best, what did I want to be? The worst.
The worst. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. You don't want to be second.
No.
You don't even want to be 10th.
No.
You don't want to be. Yeah. You want to be 10th.
so what I would used to tell Matt,
You don't want to be in the running.
when Matt was involved, I used to say that there's an empty chair between me and him. So I'm the host. We have no co-host. You're the co-host. And that's what I would say to him. I got that from the band director at Northeast High School. His name was Sam Hand. My brother was first chair. Then there was second, third, fourth, fifth, all the way down to, I don't make up a number, 10. 11 was empty, and I was 12. So there was an empty chair in between me and the next trumpet player. So that's what I do with Matt now,
That's hilarious.
when he was involved.
Yeah. So it's not like you could be first chair.
Oh, there was not with my brother.
I
Well, and
see
there
no
was
chair.
so we got about 40 seconds. So we were at band practice one time, and we're doing the whole march, and the band director, Sam Hamm, goes, something's not right. Only the trumpet section. There was 4 trumpet sections. So all 4 sections did it, and Sam Hamm goes, no, something's still not right. Only Benji's section. So it was my brother, me, and 2 other people. Did it one more time, only this time,
Oh, no.
no Benji.
Oh,
The other 3 of us didn't know how to play.
Right, clearly.
So there was no sound coming out. We're just marching like we own the world because my brother was able to. I could have said,
I used to do that in chorus. I used to open my mouth but not sing because I didn't want them to know I was off key.
Save that. We'll talk about it. We got to hit the bottom of the hour break just in case Miles Killebrew shows up. We'll stay on time. Coming to you live from Radio Row. This is Knockout Radio, brought to you by 8 Man Strong, Staff Zone, and Bucked Up Energy Drink.
Oh, this is a pretty good parlay. Saquon Barkley, 90 plus rushing yards, and Saquon Barkley a touchdown anytime. It's not bad. That's from sportingnews.com. That's a minus 115. Barkley's projected rushing total of a whopping minus 130. And his touchdowns at minus 208. Pretty good for Saquon. I like that parlay. Actually, it's a restaurant.
So Miles Killebrew is like,
Because I didn't know who he was. I was like, and so he came and he was just standing there. He was going to, that guy that you chased down.
no, but I'm saying Miles Killebrew was supposed to be here at 1:30. He missed yesterday, but now he's late again.
Yeah. Is that what the woman came by?
Yes. Well, he wasn't coming on because when I asked him right away, he goes, "No, talk to him." So he didn't know anything about it.
I have to use the.
Sure.
Are you cool?
I'll
I've been doing it for
ramble
a
for a
million
minute or
years.
two.
Huh?
I'll ramble for a minute or two. What up, everybody? We are back coming to you live from Radio Row, continuing the shindig that we're doing. Brought to you by 8 Man Strong, Staff Zone, and Bucked Up Energy Drink. Miles Killebrew scheduled to be here momentarily. One of my favorite conversations that I've had on Radio Row in years past was with Miles Killebrew, with the Pittsburgh Steelers Pro Bowler. We saw him at the Pro Bowl last year. Really good dude, so hopefully he'll be stopping by here momentarily. We're still giving away the raffle for the bike that's from one of those e-bikes. It's really pretty cool. I'll get the XR code. Okay. We'll put the XR code. I think that's what it's called, right? XR code? XR code. It's really a cool bike. So we're going to be giving that away, or at least the company is, and then we'll announce the winner on our YouTube channel. Probably in 2 weeks. I'm going to let them pull it. I have nothing to do with it. All of the registrations go to the company. They're based in Hong Kong. They have distribution in Florida. They have it throughout the states. They have it all over the U.S. of A. How about the USO, by the way, not to change real quickly. Good stuff there. Coming up, like I said, Miles Killebrew, safety still with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's probably hanging over there at the Visit Pittsburgh sign. The draft is going to be there. That should be interesting. And now the draft is, I haven't gone to that yet. I'm going to try to have Leslie go to it. I think that would be interesting for her, not necessarily, for me. Too many people. It's too many people here. You have no idea. I don't even know how to explain I mean, we've shown video of Radio Row. We've shown everything. It's just packed. It's wall to wall. And I still can't explain it properly. You can't imagine what this place is like. Wall to wall media. The thing that I do like, and not that anybody cares what I do or I don't like, I like that it's not open to the fans like it has been in years past. Because the fans get onto Radio Row. Now you're taking thousands of media, hundreds of celebrities, and now you're adding even more fans getting autographs, doing all that kind of stuff. And I think Miles is here. Old school, old time, good stuff. What's up, man?
I need to just come see you every
I
time.
wish you would,
I
Gavin.
need to come see you every time.
Miles Killebrew sitting down now. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, man. I'm so glad I found your booth, man. I couldn't wait to get over here.
I appreciate that. I tell people one of my favorite conversations was with you a couple years ago.
Come on.
You know, I don't like talking religion, but we talked to religion
I
stuff,
remember,
and
yep.
we talked what happened, and I went home and I told my family, and, you know, we talked about all that stuff, and it changed me. You know, it really did. It really meant a great deal. Don't want to get emotional and stuff.
Dude, yeah, you're going to make me start tearing up, dude. Don't tell me. Oh, man, that's awesome to hear.
So what's new with you? What's going on?
Well, I'm here. I wish I wasn't. I wish I was in the hotel getting ready for the game.
No kidding. I like how you kept going with that. People are like, what do you mean you don't want to be there? Sure.
Man, we were sitting at 10-3, and I'm like, man, we might have something special. I remember telling my wife, I was like, we might have something special here. And, you know, no one could have predicted that we were about to take that slide to end the year. Obviously, that's not something we want.
How difficult is that? You know,
It's hard, man, because I get so pumped. We all get so pumped, you know, and maybe I'm just a clueless optimist, but I was
have to
like,
be.
we could do this, you know? Like, I'm looking around, I'm like, we have weapons, we have a great defense. I know teams is solid. You know, we got it, and we didn't, and so we got to go back to the drawing board and figure out. I say we, I mean as a team. It's everyone, right? And we got to figure it out, man, because I want a Lombardi for Pittsburgh, dude. Like, I want to be part of that legacy, man. I didn't come here to not be.
see, I think a lot of fans look at it's a job, and the players are playing for money, not necessarily what we're here for today. And that's not the case. I'm in the locker rooms all the time.
Sure.
And I know the drive that this is for you guys is to be able to be called a world champion.
Right. I mean, listen, the amount of stress that comes with this job, both physically, mentally, emotionally, I mean, there's very few jobs where you do your job and you get millions of views of scrutiny for every little thing you do. Every day someone's telling you, oh, someone else could do your job better. Get this guy out of here. He sucks. Like, you're not going to do this if it's just for the money. I don't care how much money you're getting paid. Like, dude, the amount of stress, you have to love it. And if you love it, you want to see yourself rise to the highest level of it. And that's where I find myself. I want to be the best. I want to be on the best. I want to be around the best team. And that includes being one of these helmets here in front at the Super Bowl. And that's what we want. So
How difficult is it for you? Because I do this and I get yelled at. Warren Sapp texts me on a regular basis. Dude, stop. You know, don't worry about it. When things are said
yeah,
that shouldn't be said, it should be said correctly. You know, you just said you suck. You know, there's media people that say, you know, that player sucks. Well, wait a second. He doesn't suck if he's in the NFL. May have a bad game. You know, there's ways to say it right and wrong. How do you handle looking at the people that come in that have already said stuff that they shouldn't be saying and how they've said it?
yeah, it's definitely difficult, especially when it is media that maybe you see every day too,
Exactly.
in the locker room. I'm like, dude, come on. You've seen me change in my locker over here. Like, I'm walking by you on a towel most days. And now we're having this conversation about how you think I'm the worst in the league. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
So that's tough. But, I mean, those helmets, they do a lot of protection for your head, but they don't block out all of the noise all of the time. No matter how good they're designed, they're not going to block out all of that noise all of the time. And a lot of guys, you'll start to see, you know, they let it affect them a little bit. I am of the select few that feel like oftentimes the praise is more destructive than the criticism, because you start to get addicted to it. You know, you start to believe the hype that, yeah, you know what, I am the best. You know what I mean? And then that's an edge that your opponent has over you now, because maybe you're not training as hard. Maybe you think it is just inherent and you expect to just dominate this team. And you see that sometimes. You see sometimes guys go into a game and you're like, oh, I thought we had this in the bag.
Easy. So it's a bad thing when you make the Pro Bowl, is what you're saying.
No.
Listen, you're the best.
If you hear me, that's not what I'm saying. Please continue to vote.
I was kidding. I'm kidding.
No, I think it's awesome. I think it's great for the game. Me making the Pro Bowl, I feel, is reflective of my unit. I feel like I had a great special teams unit this year. I think certain guys come to mind, like Ben Skoranek, who stepped up. He came in, had a massive role for us at the gunner position. James Pierre came back the same. Our punter, Corliss, stepped up when that awful injury happened to Cam early in the year. We just had consistent play from Christian Kuntz. I could go on and on. Matakavich, Connor Hayward. Our whole unit was just solid, and so when I got the Pro Bowl nod, I was super proud of those guys, and I think they deserve a lot of the praise, along with obviously Coach Danny Smith.
Before we talk about My Cause, My Cleats, we've talked about that a long time in Cafe Momentum. Talk about just the tradition of the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know, there's certain things, the Steelers, the Cowboys, when you hear that name, you just think tradition.
Yeah, you think a legacy of winning. With the Steelers in particular, I feel like their name has always been synonymous with physicality.
Yeah.
With this is a hard-nosed team that you're going to have to go through, and it's not a very easy thing to go through. And I'm starting to learn, being on the other side of it, being the man in the helmet, that it's synonymous with being involved in the community. I'm not trying to plug, Cafe Momentum yet, but you have to be involved in the community if you find yourself in a leadership role with the Steelers. You just have to. There's a reason why Cam Hayward is like the ultimate, the epitome of what it means to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. I mean, he's always up for Man of the Year. He's very involved in the community. So I'm trying to follow suit. I'm trying to do my part in that as well, all while still trying to uphold the tradition of being hard-nosed, best in the biz.
It's important, and I don't want to, back in and, to say, what I'm saying is it's asked that you do, but you're not made to do it. So for players or really anybody goes and does charity stuff, they're doing it because they want to, not because they have to.
Of course. It's like anything, I feel like they bring in certain personalities, and the ones that rise to these leadership positions, I feel like it's because they embody those. I look at, like I said, Cam. You look at even the quarterbacks who are brought in, like Russell Wilson. These are personalities that we enjoy the community aspect of it. I know how important it is. I have 3 kids of my own. You don't have to tell me to have a heart for the youth. I want to be very involved in what the future of our youth in America look like. And so Cafe Momentum was an easy choice for me.
I'm glad you mentioned you had 3 children, because typically, I like to give thank you gifts, and we still have another couple more minutes for you. But we have this cool sponsor, and they make these fantasy pets.
Dude, I've been looking at this thing. I wonder what it was.
Your 3 children are going to get one.
They would love that.
So we're going to send them to. It is awesome. Talk about Cafe Momentum and My Cause, My Cleats.
So I chose to partner with them from My Cause, My Cleats this year. We did a great little special on it, and they have a brick and mortar location in Pittsburgh. So I was able to go down to the restaurant. Essentially, it is a restaurant that is almost entirely staffed and operated by youth who have had run-ins with the justice, with the incarceration and just youth justice system. And so it is. It's really good work that they're doing. They're offering a way for these youth to come in and kind of reinvent themselves and understand that they are not confined to this image of, okay, I made a mistake and now this is who I am, right? And no, you have a community that supports you. They offer them training in the culinary arts, communication, just totally equip them with this awesome package of professionalism, making them well-rounded, and the food is awesome. People that live in the area in Pittsburgh, definitely go down, check it out. The food is amazing. I know I was blown away by the service, and it's really a great cause.
And it's very important to do because a lot of times, like you said, if you do something wrong, it doesn't mean that has to stick with you for the rest of your life. Somebody needs to help. Somebody needs to stick out a hand to help them move into the right direction.
Yes, I know if it's hard for me to go out there and make a bad play and then be like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get killed for this. Like, people are going to say, oh, you mean the guy that made that terrible play? Yeah, that guy stinks. I could only imagine as a young adult, these adolescent who they make a mistake to not feel like this is who they are. And so just really quick, if you want to learn more about it, get involved, maybe read some more about their story, cafemomentum.org is a great resource to do that.
I know we got to let you go, but just tell me the design. What was the shoe like?
Oh, it was yellow. It had their logo on it, and I was actually able to gift a pair to one of their ambassadors, employees. And dude, the look on his face, he didn't even see it coming, and it was great. I think I love the story of Cafe Momentum, and I love everyone involved.
Awesome. I appreciate your time. Let's not wait a year.
Yeah,
let's stay in touch.
And next year, let's do a post-game interview because we're playing in the freaking game.
Done. We will definitely do that. Coming to you live from Radio Row. We'll be right back.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's my challenge. So take a quick photo.
Oh, please. Let's get out of here, maybe. Coming into it. So, oh man,
And that, seriously,
I was looking forward to that. I wasn't blowing smoke. I really was looking forward.
that conversation really meant a lot to me, in my family. So it did.
Come on, man. Give me another hope. Come on, man.
Because it really hurt. The guy was supposed to say, I know you got to go. But, to do that, to say that, it's I'm not religious, but it's like that's not what it was supposed to be. Right. Good job. Yeah, man. I think I did. Seven to seven. 4, 4, 5, 6. Just to shoot
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Take care.
He can just text it. Miles, you can just text me the address and
Sounds good.
so I can send you the pets and stuff.
Yes, sir. Good, sir. Thank you.
Where'd all that come from? Was that upstairs?
Media room.
Was it? Huh?
Media,
What?
media room.
I can't hear you.
Oh, yeah.
Brought them in with the pretzel and everything.
My magic is too.
They just reloaded it. It's gone for a while. It was like a mess.
I'm bad at that.
How are you doing today?
So good. How you
Yeah? You enjoying everything? You having a good time?
doing? Great.
Yeah, it's fun. Is this a normal thing you come back to with Radio Row?
This is my first time doing it. Yeah. I'm from New Orleans though, so the opportunity kind of made itself down here, and being in New Orleans is kind of good.
Yeah. So you're home.
Yeah, I'm home.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you were reading Mr. New Orleans over there earlier.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's over there.
Those are-
Mm-hmm.
Am I choosing one of these?
It's the one, Randy, it's the one on the right, right? Randy, it's the one on the right, right?
What?
Mic check.
Either one. It don't matter. I'll turn them all on.
Oh,
All right, we are back coming to you live from Radio Row. I think the final hour for today.
Okay.
For
and then
today.
Paige Van Zandt coming up. Let's welcome to the program Garrett Wallow. How are you?
I'm doing good. How you
Are
doing?
you an MMA guy?
No.
I'm going to have to convert you.
You will have to convert me. I'm very interested in MMA, but I'm more of a boxer type of watcher.
Okay, we got to turn it.
Yeah, we have to, right?
What's it like walking around here? We just had Miles here. I know it's tough, and he even said that. He's, you know, and I'm sure you did too. You expected to be in the hotel,
Yeah.
not expected to be sitting here. So
Yeah,
what is it
absolutely.
like for you kind of walking around?
I think from a different standpoint, this is home for me. So seeing this attraction into New Orleans and just seeing everything going on in my city, I just think, for one, I just think it's good because it's exposure for the city. So it's exciting. It's exciting. I definitely see. It's definitely good seeing guys that I played with in former years and guys I still play with. So yeah, it's amazing.
Thoughts on the game on Sunday?
Yeah, I guess the moment of truth, huh?
Get right to it.
Yeah, let's address the elephant in the room.
And then we'll talk MMA.
Personally, I would like to see the Eagles win, just because I have some guys that I train with that are on that team. But I wouldn't be mad seeing Kansas City win and then making history. I'm all about it. So, yeah, it would be exciting.
I'm going to kind of use this as an MMA, but to answer that question, is it difficult when you say that, or when you say things like that, and then you may have a friend that's on the other team, or now you're going to play against somebody, and like, hey, you were not necessarily rooting against, but you were hoping.
Well, I just think it can
Because
be.
fighters give me crap. Like when you pick who's going to win, I go, I don't pick anymore. I don't.
It's too much pressure, and I guess guys lean on that. Well, I think from this standpoint, I think, and I'll say this and I mean it in a good way, but guys who play for the Chiefs, they know that they've been the best team for the past couple of years. So they know, to be the best, you got to beat the best. So I think they always know that somebody's trying to beat them. So I think from that standpoint, and knowing that they're a really good team, I don't think they get too upset with it.
What do you think's going to make the difference in this game? What do you think the big deal's going to be?
I think if the Eagles D-line gets in there and does their thing, and the Eagles run game is explosive like it's been the past couple games, I think they got a really good chance. Yeah.
What about the spread? What do you think?
I'm not really into.
See, I hate this.
Yeah.
How many points though?
One of some of my good friends could tell you the spread, but I'm not really too much into it, so I don't want to give you any false information and have any bettors lose anything because of me.
I have my opinions, but obviously I'm not a football player, and I don't know how much you want to get into this, but it drives me crazy. And it's not just Mahomes. I mean, Jameis Winston would do this as well.
Yeah.
You're kind of like running towards out of bounds, and then you shoot back up for 8 more. If that's one, and the other, you're coming full force to hit somebody, and they're waiting till the last second. It just drives me crazy.
Yeah.
Now, offensive players are going to say, no, that's fine.
Yeah, and I look, I get it. They're trying to protect the quarterback on any chance, but I think some of them are getting out of hand now. And I think as a person who plays the game full speed, it feels like out there you have this much of a millisecond to make a decision, right? And if it's close, we never do anything intentionally for that to cause happen. It's just we're just playing football. We're playing it really fast. We're playing it really hard. So some things just happen that, honestly, it happened so quick we weren't able to slow down to. So I get what they're trying to do, but I think sometimes there has to be a realistic standpoint.
It's real. Now with the quarterback, and you can't. How do you tackle? How do you tackle anybody?
Yeah, I try not to think about it. I just go out there and do my thing, and if I get fined, I get fined. Well, my dog right there.
Well, I was going to say, you don't want to come in on Wednesday and the manila envelope is sitting there.
Yeah,
you can't think about it, but,
Yeah, because you want to appeal it. It's just like, oh, you got to go through all this. And, I mean, nobody loves getting their money taken from them, but also I don't want to think about it too much, and it affects me playing fast or slow on the field. So we'll just take the lick if it comes.
Now you've been in Houston. Now you're in Nashville.
Nashville,
Hey,
yes,
talk
ma'am.
about the difference and how do you like it there?
Oh, man.
And ironic, Houston,
Yeah.
Nashville, with Nashville being Houston.
Yeah.
How crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy because there is a little beef over there who was the first Oilers. Yeah,
Right.
But I love Nashville. I love everything about Nashville. And honestly, I'm a big weather person, so I like that Nashville actually gets all 4 seasons. 'Cause
That's
I feel like
right.
the weather in South my whole time. All we get is summer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I grew up in Hendersonville.
Okay, cool.
And I'm a meteorologist, and you got it dead on. Aside from a sports reporter too, and kind of wear the different hats at different times, but
Yeah.
you do get the full 4 out there.
Yeah.
You know, the people are nice,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yeah, they're really good people. I think the food in Houston is better because it's a little bit closer to home.
Yeah.
But the experience and just the way of life in Nashville, I think, it's beautiful. I love it.
Turkey leg hut. Turkey leg hut.
What kind of
Turkey
people?
leg, isn't that? Isn't it? This is awesome. I mean, it's crazy. It's this monster turkey leg, and it's stuffed with crab meat.
Yeah, and then you get some Cajun rice in
Fries,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah. It's a good spot. You been there before?
Oh yeah, no, you know, but not only am I a veteran of the military, I'm a veteran. So
Yeah.
veteran in life.
Thank you for your service.
No,
yeah.
that's not why I said that.
Okay,
but,
no,
but-
no, you good. I see-
we're
I
all
see that
veterans.
anyway.
It took 3 Army to equal 1 Navy, but that's another story.
That's real.
But the veteran in life, when we pulled up and the line was 2 hours long. So what does a veteran in life do? Calls in an order. And then 15 minutes, I got my leg, I'm sitting in the car eating, I'm still in line. You gotta learn. You gotta learn.
Yeah, nah, that's very smart. Yeah.
But what kind of music you listen to? Now you're in Nashville, you got to be a music man somehow.
So I'm a little old soul. I
Yeah.
like any 80s, any 90s R&B, soul music. But I will say, since I've been in Nashville, I kind of like that country music. I'm not gonna lie, it's grown on me. So whenever I'm on the road, taking road trips or driving, I put on some Chris Stapleton. I just put on like any type of country music. I'm all for it, and I love how they tell a story in their music. I think that's what I like the most about it. Like it actually makes me feel like I'm like, okay, this kind of
It's a
sad, but
story,
I'm feeling
right.
it.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
right.
saying?
That's relatable.
Yeah, relatable.
How many country songs can you name that does not say the word truck? Every country song is about their truck.
Yeah, you're not lying. Yeah.
Do you have a truck now that you moved there? It's next on the
Sad to
list.
say, but I do. Went from a car to a truck quick. Yeah, I think since I've been in Texas, I've moved over to the truck. So I have a nice Chevy, and I'm sure there's
American, all right.
everybody out there. There's a little truck beef out there. I'm not trying to join that.
Final question for you from New Orleans. I don't want a tourist play. I want to go get some really good food.
Oh yeah, I got
New Orleans wise. Not on the Bourbon Street.
100%. I wouldn't tell you go eat on Bourbon Street.
Yeah.
But I said there's a spot called New Orleans Food and Spirits.
Oh.
And so when you go there, get the voodoo rolls to order. It's like a voodoo crawfish roll. It's amazing. I don't know if you're big on crawfish.
Oh yeah.
And then for your main dish, I would say get the pasta train pasta. It's either it's like a crawfish pasta, and then just get like a blackened catfish, blackened chicken, or blackened redfish, whatever you want on top. Or you even get it fried if you want. But get that on top, and you'll be talking about that for the rest of the week on the show.
That's
Garrett
a week.
Waffles.
for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Good stuff, Garrett. Thank
Trust
you
me.
very much
Yeah.
for your time. We're going to get your address. I'm going to send you a care package of some thank you gifts for coming on.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank you. Good stuff. Top of the hour. We will be staying on as I'm going to say hi to Tracy Nelson here in a couple minutes, but we're going to go hit this break.
Thank y'all so much.
I enjoyed that. It was awesome. New Orleans food and
26. It's 26. Was that Monday? I can't remember.
I don't even know that name.
Andrew Adams. Right?
Oh,
Sweet.
well,
Like, I think that's Andrew Adams. Damn COVID. That damn COVID.
I don't do that. That's a one day event.
Well, mine was 10 days.
That's We were all at BKFC.
A jacket? It is cold in here. No, it's cold.
Philly's gonna win this. They're due. I could care less who won ordinarily. My free blanket ship on Phillies, my wife's maintained with blanket ships, and she's pulling the Phillies. If I've got to go with a reason, without statistics, free blanket ships. He put the Eagles in my household. And then the Bucks had a kicker, but they released him this year. Last name Blankenship. Off the chair, eating all the good stuff. Then when you get a food come up, you might push it over and take your jacket. My jacket? I want my jacket. I'm not above that. Huh? I'm not above stealing your jacket. I mean, my jacket, acquiring your jacket.
I got this jacket in Florence, Italy. And, you know, you can get really good leather there for a fraction of the cost.
I had a black leather trench coat. And then I bought in Naples.
In Italy? Oh, in Naples?
I know it came off the back of the truck.
What's in Naples?
A lot of stuff comes off trucks and winds up in Naples.
We're at the port. That's where we were. I think it was. We got around there.
It was way back when we bought a lot of stuff. You know what we did? We took Zippo lighters. Randy can probably attest to that one. Pull into a port, pull out Zippo lighters. That's currency, better than cash.
Why? They collect them?
If it's what Zippo you had,
Why is that?
the ship's logo or squadron or something on it, it was worth port trade value. I got
There was a time when they were really popular. Zippos, just like a collector's thing. Different time. Yeah, I remember that.
we'd go buy them from the ship store and then you could trade them. And then in the Middle East, you took cigarettes. I refuse to buy cigarettes. People would trade American cigarettes.
How's it going, Randy? How you doing? How's it going? How you doing?
Yeah.
What are you waiting? What are you waiting? So you'll walk around?
Sorry about that. Getting all rattled and kind of like,
Why? I'm learning and I'm the one who sets you up for failure. So if you get rattled over it, guess what? I'll take it. Now, if it were not on me or this one was I'll
yes, ma'am. I'm happy to be above ground, so things are good. Very good. I've been on the air for almost 40 years, longest running sports show in Tampa Bay. Probably 39 and a half of those years on the Tan Talk Radio Network. Correct. We've been out here since Monday. Tomorrow will be our final day. We'll be on noon to 1. And then we're going to broadcast the rest of the day on the YouTube channel, Knockout Radio, 49.5 million views, almost 60,000 subscribers. So please jump on YouTube, Knockout Radio, and subscribe. What I've said all week long, and my big thing is I've covered the Tampa Bay Buccaneers since '85, but my big love and passion is MMA and the UFC. And when I talk about fights, I say if I can't pick who I think is going to win, not who's going to win because we're all just guessing, but if I can't pick who's going, I don't know who's going to win this. And every time I want to say one, I'm like, nah, idiot, it's going to be the other. I'm leaning towards the Eagles. And anybody that knows anything about me, I hate the Philadelphia Eagles. I was born in Philadelphia. I was stationed in Philadelphia. I hate the color green. I hate everything about the Philadelphia Eagles. A lot of that stems from '02, the Bucks and the Eagles rivalry and all that stuff. I want to pick them. I want Barkley to win. I want him to win the title because of things that happened with him this year. But only and I don't want to say, moron or anything like that because then I'll get beat up again. But anybody who picks against Patrick Mahomes shouldn't. So I'm torn, but I'm leaning towards the Philadelphia Eagles. They have the better team on paper. At every position, they're better except for one, and that's quarterback with Patrick Mahomes. Correct. In a row this time. No. Absolutely not. I know this team. I know a lot of the players, you know, on the Chiefs, and they're taking this just like it's just another game. They've briefly talked about, they say they haven't talked about it at all, but, you know, the three-peat and legacy and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of people are picking the Chiefs mainly because they've been here. The Eagles were here a couple of years ago, lost to Kansas City in the last moments. They've won the Super Bowl a couple of years before that. You know, so they've been there, but not as many of the players are veterans in the Super Bowl. This hectic life of this week, Super Bowl week, is insane. And you can get caught up in it. So that is a thing that's leaning towards the Chiefs. But they've been here. Been there, done that. Well, I definitely can. Can any of you? Oh, I definitely can. The So taking that just a step further. So when they were trying to come up with a name, Mr. Hunt, the owner of, who has since passed away, of the Kansas City Chiefs, was in his kitchen, and his daughter was playing with a super ball and was bouncing it on the ground, and he went from Super Ball, hey, what a great idea, to Super Bowl. No, I mean, well, there was always a championship game, and we argued that on my show earlier. Otto Graham won 8 world titles, but it's not a Super Bowl.
I think it's 7.
So 7. So it's 7. He was in 10, I believe. But then that's when they finally just renamed it. So yeah, and the Chiefs were in the first, and now the Chiefs are in this one. I think it was like 18, 20.
It was 20. Slower. It's probably like 6. I think it's 16 or something.
12.
No.
It's your opinion. I wish I could get them for $12 now. I don't know. I haven't seen a Super Bowl ticket in years, but I want to say it's somewhere in the vicinity of $1,500 or $1,700. That's for the cheap seat. Now, no civilian is going to get those for $1,700. What many people may not know is every player in the NFL has the opportunity to purchase one pair of tickets. Then owners get tickets and sponsors get tickets. So there's not a lot of tickets out there. And that's why you find these tickets on the aftermarket at $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a piece. That's true. That's. Well, right. Well, that's the average. That I said that the least expensive, it comes in around 15, 17, and then yeah. I saw some last night. We walked down to go get dinner, and I saw some, hey, do you need tickets? You need tickets? You look at them, you can tell that they're not real. Yeah. Correct. Well, first, right. They have to pay for the pair. They get the opportunity to purchase a pair. Then if they go to management, if they go to the coach, if they go, they're able to, because the team gets tickets as well. But yeah, every player, every coach has the opportunity, if they choose to purchase one pair of tickets. For sure. Awesome. I need to go. I'm getting ready to interview Paige Van Zandt. But if you'll leave your info, and I'm sure that they have it there at the station, I'm helping some people, and I don't want to name their names, that are also officers, that are putting together a charity event for the officer that was just shot coming out of the bowling alley. So, I'd like to get some information to you so that maybe you can help us with that. Awesome. Take care. I appreciate everybody coming to you from Radio Row. I'm checking out. Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Do you know where he went? Is he coming back?
No. It's, I'm sure
Well, we got Paige in 15 minutes.
I know. And it's taking 5 minutes to go.
Do you remember which guest I said I would send? Do you know how to click us live if he's not back? Oh, there he is. No, he's right behind it.